our diseases can get to each other this way.
Yeah.
What's up, Tommy?
Nothing much.
How you doing?
I'm so nervous.
Are you?
No. That was good. We got a little talking before we got in here, so.
Yeah, we did. And I was like, don't say too much for the podcast. That happens every time. I have a guest on. They come in, like, oh, you want coffee? Do you need anything? And we just kind of have 10, 15 minutes to chat. And I'm like, wait, stop. I don't want to sound rude, but everything you're saying I like, so let's save it for the conversation.
Yeah, and I'll forget everything, so.
Well, especially someone I haven't either met before or seen in a while. Like, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, when I do see you, it's always for like a big event. So it's like there's 50,000 people around. So it's like, hey, what's going on? All right, bye.
Yeah, I'll never forget the time you brought a bunch of fruit to the Easy Fest. What was it, like 2016 or 17?
Yeah, 15, 16, one of those years.
One of those years. You just showed up with a ton of fruit.
Yeah, that back in the day, that was my stuff. I used to go to a market in the city and get, truckloads of fruit for a cheap price. And then they started requiring a business license, so they kind of booted me.
What were you doing to just get these fruit?
I just walk in. So on a Saturday, I would just show up Saturday morning early, 7 a.m. or something, 6:30, and all these businesses were getting like Jewel and all the main businesses were getting their fruit for other places, and I just sneak in. I talk to the non-legit people there. They just take me back there and be like, "Hey, this is pretty close to being garbage. You want?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, of course. So, yeah, back then I used to eat sickening amounts of fruit. So
why sickening? What makes it sickening?
Just a lot. I guess it's a lot. On paper, it's a lot. I'd be eating 9 pounds of blueberries a day, but I felt good.
I mean, as long as you don't have diabetes, is it really a problem to eat a lot of fruit?
No.
I don't think it is.
No, it was the best I ever felt.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it is a lot of sugar, but it's so natural.
Yeah.
And the fiber is so natural, it's kind of not that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah, fruit's the best.
Yeah, everywhere I've Googled a million times on every website I could ever find, can you eat too much fruit? Is there too much sugar in fruit? And every time they just say, no, not really.
No, do your best to try. It's hard.
Try overeating fruit.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No.
You run a lot.
Yes.
And you work for the Forest Preserve.
Yes.
So you're out in nature a lot.
Yeah, good answers. Yes, yes.
All year round. Doesn't matter the weather. You go outside and do nature work. Yeah.
So it's kind of mixed now because I started off at DuPage and I was a groundskeeper. So I did more the labor, the outdoor work. Now I've kind of just moved up throughout the years. I moved over to Cook County. And I'm the superintendent for Tinley Creek Landscape. So we cover, I'm pointing Tinley's over here.
That way,
yeah. Whatever way.
That way,
yeah. So my job's kind of mixed now. I work with the crew, but I also run the crew. So I have the administration side of stuff too. So
office work?
Yeah, office work, driving around in a truck, inspecting stuff, but I don't know, I like it a lot.
I see you're kind of around a lot because I walk forest a lot. Maybe I try to do them depending on the weather because sometimes it's too muddy. Maybe a couple times a week. I do a 5-mile hike, 7-mile hike in the forest with my friend. And I noticed this maybe a couple weeks ago. I noticed the paths were really smooth. Do they go out and do you go out and flatten them? Because they kind of get messed up from the winter, all the footsteps.
Yeah, depending on where they set aside certain projects. Payless is the baby for the Forest Preserve, so they get the most work done because they're I don't know, they're the favorited. Payless for sure, and that's where the trails coordinator works out of Payless. So he works he just coordinates what goes on with the trail. He doesn't really do the work, but it gets either broken up to the forestry crews or the landscape crews. But that's the heaviest used multi-use area, non-paved trails. So they cover all that. But they do different trail repair projects throughout the year, mostly there. I try to get them away from there sometimes or take it over myself. But
yeah, I see that often when I go out there. I'll see trucks driving around. And this winter we walked through we didn't care about the blizzards. We still went through the snow. And sometimes the only path we had was one little tire mark that we would just walk in this tire mark.
And you're pissing off the bikers when you walk through that too.
Why?
So they set their stuff. They're the worst. No offense. No offense to the
bicyclists.
Yeah, well, it's very, I don't know how to, I don't know the right.
Just
I don't know word
just
no
defend.
word
Just defend.
no
It's
goods.
okay.
No, it's okay. But they're very exclusive. That's like their thing. So they do put in the work. Like so throughout the winter when you get 12 inches of snow, somebody's got to go out there with fat tires and just flatten it. And that's what somebody will do. And that's what you're talking about. Like you see one tire track, some dude's just working his ass off, just going around these trails just to flatten it. And then people will come in after him, 3, 4 more guys. They'll flatten out the entire area to where there's a track, maybe a foot wide, and then they're good. And then all the other bikers can come in and do that depending on the conditions and everything.
Yeah.
But the runners, I come in and I just reap the benefits. I'll wait for them to go through, and then I'll run it. I stay in their track and I don't mess anything up. But the hikers and the walkers, like they don't pay attention to trail conditions. And those guys, like it's called camber. There's Chicago area mountain bike riders. They're real serious about trail conditions, as you should be. But like walkers and hikers and probably even runners, they go out no matter what every single day.
Yeah.
So the bikers, they hate that because then they ruin the trails for if it's a muddy trail or if it's snow everywhere and they're just compacting it when it's wet, it gets ruined for weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So these guys,
super ice.
yeah. So these guys aren't having anybody out there, or they're not big on having anybody out there.
Well, in my defense, since I was the only person out there with Zach, I realized nobody else was out there during these conditions.
Yeah.
I didn't see one bicycle. I didn't see one human being. There was such bad snow in February, as you remember, that there was no trail. Like we were creating the trail in 20 inches of snow, just powder, just nothing.
Yeah.
We just saw an open gap where there clearly was a path. 20 inches of snow. No one could bike on it. No one could even drive on it. I don't think you'd have to have a very large truck. And we were the only ones out there. But even like the one tire mark, like I didn't see a bicyclist out there at all. Like nobody.
No.
And I was like, they can't even ride in this. It's still we're in that tire track, but it's still like 8 inches of snow underneath us. You can't really ride a bike in that.
Yeah. Oh, they'll try.
They'll try.
Yeah. No, they will. Yeah. But yeah, it all depends.
Yeah, I think it's because where I go off LaGrange by like 87th and 95th, I don't know if it's maybe not as popular. I don't see a lot of bikes.
No,
there.
that's not their section. That's the horse
Okay.
section. Yeah.
That probably makes sense why like I'd see like one bicyclist.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the whole time.
They stick to pretty much like Maple
Okay.
West.
Got it.
Maple and west of Maple is their stuff.
Got it.
But
So I wasn't upsetting too many people.
no. The horses ruin that trail anyways.
Yeah, there's a lot of horse poo everywhere, and it's cool though. I'm really grateful to have these trails around here.
I was thinking about it on the way here. Actually, I was driving down LaGrange. I'm like, man, he's right. He's so close to the
Yeah.
87th.
I could
entrance
walk
to the trail.
1 mile to Keene and 87th, right where all the trails begin. And
Oh,
they-
yeah.
they spread all the way.
Yeah, right from Keene. I mean, you could spend days in that area. There's just so much stuff in there.
I know.
So many different routes to play with in there.
It's really cool. It's do you know the history of that? Like when did they start making these? When did they allow the space for it?
I mean, the forest preserves. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when the mountain bike, because obviously, when the forest preserve started, there weren't mountain bikes. But I know they started as like footpaths. Mountain bikers will probably tell you that the mountain bikers started all the trails in the county, but there were footpaths since the beginning in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the mountain bikers and the bikers in general have been around, I think, since I'm going to botch this. So it's probably the 70s or something. I'm just guessing.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that people have been walking before they've been biking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say us walkers started it.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to say the runners started it.
Oh, the runner. Yeah,
no.
people have been running too. Yeah,
No.
so you're a runner. I'm a walker, and there's bikers. I chose to walk because I used to run a lot, and the older people I know that ran a lot, they always have hip, knee, back issues. And that's when I was like, running's great, but I think I'm going to walk to avoid all those long-term effects.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't think about that. That's why I still do it. I mean, well, no, I look at it like this. Running's like the old man version of skating to me, because skating is way worse. There's just,
Oh my God. Yeah, so let's tell everyone you're a skateboarder.
I'm a skateboarder.
You've been skateboarding for ever?
Since I was 12.
You're
so
30?
28.
28.
28. So,
Okay.
yeah, 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any long-term effects?
No, you know what? No. But it's not long term yet. I'm still a baby.
You're still 28.
So
You're still
yeah,
in good condition.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'll probably be in a wheelchair by 40. But
Oh.
when, right now, no, I'm not experiencing any of it. But there's definitely been, I can think of times where it was like, you're working so hard for like one thing. I was filming a video part. I was like 18 years old. I remember we were, I lived in the Loop at the time, so we would just go skate from 6 p.m. till 4 a.m. every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to film all this stuff in like 1 month. But I remember like a session where I was just jumping off this, it was like this kind of like roof gap over stairs thing, jumping off it so many times to where like we had to take a taxi from, I landed the trick. The last try, I was ready to give, I couldn't even climb up the thing anymore. And I got up at one last time and I landed it. And after I landed it, I remember I couldn't even walk. I had to get taxied back to my place. And I was messed up for like probably 2 weeks after that, or a week.
Oh my God.
To where just like basic walking was hurt. Yeah.
Why do you do this to yourself?
For the footage, man. No, I don't know.
The skateboarding world, I'm glad you're here because I know it well enough, but I'm not too immersed in it. Like I skateboarded when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of skateboarders. I know a lot of the same people you know. And, played the Tony Hawk games, watched the videos, the good tricks that are landed, the bails, all of it.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of extreme sports like that. Did snow skiing, water skiing, wakeboarding, skateboarding, longboarding. I had, what made me stop was a really bad longboarding accident in Lamont where I broke my wrist and tailbone and messed my body up. A lot of road rash.
Hills?
Yeah. I was bombing a hill.
Say that's the place.
Bombing a hill, roughly around 60 miles an hour. And dead end, bailed, probably did 6-7 somersaults, broke a bunch of bones, ripped off a bunch of skin, nearly died. And I was just like, I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
No one knows I'm doing this. This is not doing anything. It's been for me now.
It's not giving you any credit.
It's not doing anything. So I'm going to for myself, for my longevity, I'm just going to stop right here. And I put the longboard on the wall and I haven't really used it since. That was like 10 years ago. But when I see people doing it, it's so cool. Like I watch your Instagram a lot, shout out to Naughty Skater. And a lot of your friends too. And I'm just like, man, so many talented skateboarders. Like Ryan, Ryan McMahon, great skateboarder.
Oh yeah.
And I just wish, I always wondered, I wonder what happens. Like what's the point? What's the longevity in this? So you're doing it for yourself at this point.
First off, I just want to say, Ryan, when I was a little kid, I thought he's just so cool in general.
Yeah.
That I thought he was like 5 years older than me. And he's not a big guy or like an old looking guy. But when I was I remember the first thing I saw him in was the Sketchy skate shop video. Mm-hmm. So there was, Ryan Sweeney owned a shop in Chicago Ridge, Sketchy, and they had a video and he was in the friends section. And he was a little tiny guy then, he was probably 13 or 12. And I remember seeing that, I'm like, oh, he's like probably 16 or something. And then by the time he actually was 16, he had like a beard and long hair and stuff. And I was like, oh, he's just one of the, I thought he was John White's age,
Yeah.
I thought he was just one of the older guys.
Yeah.
That whole crew, I'm like, I just assumed they were much older than me. But I was just an immature little kid.
No, yeah, he hung out with the older people and he was better than anybody I've seen, like in that crew of skaters.
He's really good.
It's really good. I wonder, has that crew or your crew of skaters ever made like a long video, made like a documentary about all the stuff you guys did and all the gaps and all the tricks and all the bails and all the good lands and all the amazing tricks that you never thought you'd land, like all that stuff?
You know what? For all the people I know, no. No, there's been, there were set kids. Where I'm from, no, people really didn't make videos. Like the skate crews were like the fancy crew, which was like Matt Rudnick and like Jomo and all these guys, all these guys. And they always filmed. Like I always saw them since we were probably in 8th grade. They were always filming. And then they had like a video they put out, and we for all the stuff we filmed, we never really put anything out. But no, there's guys, Kevin DelGrosso, Chief, as everybody calls him. He puts out videos.
Yeah,
I was in a video of his.
Daniel, what is Daniel's last name? They live out in way out west, and Chief is his neighbor.
Yeah, he lives in Frankfurt.
No, it's beyond Frank. It's not Lamont. It's Lockport.
They moved. Yeah,
Lockport.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
It's funny you said Chief.
Old
I was
Chief.
like, there's only one person I know named Chief.
Now, out of anybody I know who makes skate videos, he's got it.
Okay.
He's really good. I was a part of like one of the one of the first videos he made. He made a couple local ones, and then he made this video, Grains, and I filmed with him for about a year for that, and everything he's put out since. I mean, I've gotten a little older, so I got a family and stuff, so I can't go film every single weekend like I used to, but he's still at it every weekend and puts out some great videos.
It's funny you mentioned him. He is someone that has been mentioned recently by someone else, someone I should have on the podcast. So
okay.
Now I have to.
He's a popular guy.
Now I have to, now that you mentioned him.
Yeah, you got to watch his videos. They look great. And it's all Midwest based. So like everything, he's big fan of Illinois, big fan of the Midwest, and it's total Midwest vibe to his videos. So, and there's a little history lesson in pretty much every single video that he puts out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
And you grew up around this area?
No. So, yeah, this area I did. Yeah, I grew up in Chicago Ridge.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what skate parks would you go to as a kid?
Oh, Blue Park, Chicago Ridge. That was our park. It was crappy metal blue ramps they put in, and we lived there. We used to, we didn't even eat as kids. We would just go there. It was like, when I was like 13, my mom worked full time, and, every summer she was gone working. My dad worked full time. So I just had a lot of freedom to just, actually it was at Freedom Park. So yeah, had a lot of freedom to go to Freedom, and we would spend all day there. We'd forget to eat. We'd be like almost passing out from having no energy and not know why.
Yeah. Don't you miss those days?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, some days I do, but
there was that prime time when you're just becoming an adult and you're going through puberty, but like women aren't distracting you yet, like 13, 14, where you're like, you have the build of more of an adult, and you're physically more capable of doing stuff like skateboarding or climbing stuff or building stuff, just kind of getting more resilient and hurt more, but also being able to bounce back because you're 13.
Yeah, and when you're surrounded by people that do the same thing too, like you don't know that that's supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you're just, everybody else gets hurt the same way, and you're like, oh yeah, that's normal. That's what I know.
You also like don't want to get made fun of. So
no, yeah,
like,
I
it's
cared.
fine. I'm not hurt, even though your like wrist is killing you because you landed on it wrong.
Yeah, no, I totally cared. I didn't want to look, and to my demise on that, I did probably put out the exact opposite, vibe. I was always just like wanting to prove myself to the older guys at the skate park, and like always, I was just that annoying kid, I'm like, oh, here, check out my skate video, and I'll try to land my best tricks in front of you, and.
Were they nice to you? Like, what was the skateboarding scene like 15 years ago? Were the older guys cool? Were they mean?
I probably annoyed the shit out of them. I mean, I don't think any of them liked me at first. I think as I got older, they were like, okay, like he tries. He put in his time. But yeah, no. I mean,
skateboarding wasn't what it is now 15 years ago. 20 years ago.
No, it's totally different. You
So
just
different.
you had whatever VHS or DVDs you had at home. That's what you went off of. So it's like there was like a clear from when I first started skating until I'd say after that first year, that was when like like This Is Skateboarding, like the America team and Baker team came out, and everybody had tight pants. So we all immediately switched to wearing tight pants.
Crews from Zoomies.
Yeah, crew pants. I was always I was a little too big for crew pants. So it was like my legs always got smashed in those things. But
I rock those too.
Yeah, I think we all. Yeah, I think we all did. Yeah, everybody had the K Slims. Yeah, that was what.
A lot of K Slims.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I grew up. Now though, nobody even knows people's name. Like I'll talk to kids about skating, and they don't. I love shop talk when it comes to like old skate videos, and like all my older friends, they still remember everything. But kids now, like I'll mention like a name, they have no idea. And now it's so hard to even remember tricks that happen now because it's like the level of skating people are at. They just post it on Instagram and then it's done.
Yeah.
Back then it was like every 2 years a good video came out, and that was what. Okay, you have this 40-minute video. That's what you have to learn off of. Okay, that's what I got to learn how to do now. But
what do you prefer? What do you think is better? Do you think it's nice to have Instagram and other skaters can just watch everyone's stuff all the time and learn from it? Do you think that's better? Or do you think it's oversaturated?
No, you know what? I wish I would have seen people skate other things now because I don't have like talent like when it comes to skating. Like I don't have.
I disagree.
I don't have like the skill. There's the technical skill for skating. I learned when I was young. I just learned certain tricks the wrong way as I would explain it, and I never relearned them.
Yeah.
But what I watched, it was like, okay, you just got to throw down some hammers. Like, you got to jump down shit and grind rails or jump down big stair sets. And, like, that's all I knew how to do because that was what people were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now kids are, like, just technical tricks on ledges that are a foot high or 2 feet high, and they just, like, build the skill set. And I didn't ever learn any of that.
Do you think that's from having all that access to information at a younger age?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah, like now people film, people are constantly posting tricks at skate parks, and that's where they're like, oh, I could just do that.
Yeah.
I don't even need to, find the set. Me, I'm like, like I said, I don't have like the technical skills. I'll learn a trick, and like that trick, I learn it to do it one time, and that's it, and then I'm done. Like
But you carry that information along to the next one in your head. You have to, right?
Like it's in there somewhere, but like I'll pick a trick and I'm like, all right, I want to do this trick down a stair set, and I'll practice it, and I'll have it for a week, and then I'll do it like inconsistently. I don't know how to explain it. Like when people jump down stair sets and stuff, they know how to throw their board away and catch it perfect, and they just have that. They have the flick, the motion, the catch, everything. Me, it's like I just land on everything, no matter like if it's a good flick or a good like it'll look like shit, and I'm landing on it. It'll hurt less if I land on it. So
you're still doing it though.
Like I do it.
You're doing the act.
I do it once,
and that act is hard. Like I've seen your videos. Like I'm not a skateboarder, but I know enough to know when like that's hard to do. Like that is not an easy thing to do. Some type of flip over a rail and fall. 8 feet and land it still.
Yeah.
Right? It's not easy to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's impossible for you to step away from it. You've been doing it for so long that it's only natural for you to be like, I don't know. I'm not good at it. I just do it,
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But I feel like that. Like I learn, like I can do it once or I can do a trick. I'm just not consistent. There's people that just have it. Like my buddy Patty is a little younger than me. He lives out here, and every trick, it's something he's never done before, and he just gets it. His feet do his feet do what his mind sees.
Did he start younger?
Yeah, and he's a skate park kid. Like he just grew up. He grew up in like the generation after me, where it was like now people are posting skate park footage and learning, and he just soaks everything up. Like he'll see something, and be like, oh yeah.
Some people really are just more natural at stuff than others.
Yeah.
Like you could force yourself and get better and practice, but there's some people who just have it.
Yeah,
I see it all the time.
I force myself.
You force yourself?
I force myself.
I feel the same way with like music, playing guitar, but like I know many people who are musicians, and 9 times out of 10, like when bands come in here and I ask them, like, I don't ask them, I try to get an honest answer by saying like, oh, when did you start playing? And every time they're like obviously proficient at something, they're like, oh, I started playing at 8, 7, 9, 5. When it's violin or fiddle, 3, 4, 5, Suzuki method. She's like, oh, of course. No wonder why you have like this ability. I could see it. Like you're just so fluent. You don't even think. Your hands are just gliding.
Because kids don't know any better. They don't know, like, that, even with skating and with everything, with sports, whatever, you're too little to understand what you're doing, so they just do it. Like
it's very natural.
Yeah, like now my mind with skating and stuff, your mind's like, fucking break my leg? No, I got to get paid next week.
Yeah.
As a kid, you're just like, I don't...
no bounds.
Yeah,
no
like what happens if you get hurt? Nothing.
Nothing
I get to miss school for 2 days.
Mom and dad are there. I don't have to worry about workman's comp.
Yeah. And I still, I don't know. Even now, though, I still have the same attitude. It's really hard for me to think any differently with skate. Like sometimes after I took probably almost a year off last year when I started, running again. But even now, like this year, as soon as it got nice out, I was like, I missed that. I need to do that. But I come back with an attitude like, I'm going to learn something different, a little lighter, not be jumping as much, just skate the ledges, practice. But my skill level hasn't increased at all. I still have the same memory, the same muscle memory, same tricks. So I always just fall back into like, okay, I got to jump off that because that's all I know.
What's the highest you've jumped? The most feet you've had to like come down on?
I don't know.
10 feet?
Roofs, stairs.
15 feet?
Yeah, I think the most stairs I've jumped down was 14.
Whoa. That's serious.
Doing the basics, yeah. But
and when you don't land it,
you just fall. It's It's not too. Actually, I've never.
It's all concrete. Let's remind the listeners.
I'm gonna break my leg the next time I skate for saying this, but I've never had like serious. Nothing, and no serious.
What about like joint issues? No joint issues at all?
Wow. Nothing.
You're one of the luckier ones, eh?
Now I'm not going to be for saying it, but...
When I see people jump in those like 12, 15, 20-foot stairs and they land on the concrete and like the board goes flying and they go flying and they slap, I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's just, man, I'm just like, man, what are they? That's crazy. I can't believe they're doing that. But do you think that the landing's not that bad because the physical movement, you're not stopping? Like a normal, when you jump off something, you just land, you're hitting it and you're stopping.
No,
on a
it's
skateboard,
still,
you're still moving.
It's still the same. It's just, it goes back to being young. You learn how to fall.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Is
Bend
like,
right, move all that motion.
You're not going to be a skateboarder and not fall 100 times every single day. So you just learn, like that's one thing I know how to do. I know how to fall. I know where I'm going to land on my body at all times. There's rarely, like, I don't know. I know my limits, like, of what tricks I can do and how I'm going to land. Like, I've never had, like, land on my board, like, with a shock and fall back, on my head or something. Like, I always fall the same way. It's just, like, fall, land on my shoulder, land up, roll onto my side. You just learn to take the impact. Your hips get...
helmets?
Helmets? No, helmets are fine. I don't wear them because it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
That you couldn't wear a helmet. My ma tried, too. I would just go to the skate park and take it off. And yeah, no, it's stupid. Skateboarding is stupid. It's just not a...
He said it, not me.
Yeah.
I was waiting to get that answer.
Very stupid. Yeah, you get a lot out of it in the sense that you get to see a bunch of stuff and like hijinks and stuff that you normally wouldn't see as a person, and get to travel all over to do
camaraderie, friends.
Yeah, and you go to different areas, but you don't go to different areas like nice areas. You go to like different like you go to Gary, Indiana, or somewhere like shitty, and you're like, oh, this is so great, and everybody else that goes there is like, I need to drive a little faster when I'm going through here. And
you're like, let's go slower to find some skate spots.
Yeah. You get to see just crazy people and things.
It's a whole culture. The skateboarding world is like this really cool underground culture. Misfits.
Yeah.
Artists, oblong people, goofballs. That's something I've always been attracted to about it and the people within it. But I just couldn't get over that hump of the body, like what it's doing to you.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, man, it's crazy. I gotta find camaraderie and expression in a different place, than doing this extreme sport. Because it really is an extreme sport.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme.
It's very extreme. You are battling constantly getting hurt at any trick. Any moment you could bust an ankle, break a bone, jam a finger.
Yeah.
Pull something out of the socket, slap your head, anything like that.
Yeah, you don't really think about it too much while you're doing it. I don't think about much while I'm doing anything. I think that's a key. There's not too much going on up here. That's a little surprise for everybody. Yeah, there isn't much going on up there.
So you think
just hamster wheeling?
Do you think that's a lot of people who do extreme sports? They're able to just shut it off and just go?
Yeah, well, I do like tics, like weird OCD stuff when I skate, and that, in my mind, that makes things, as long as I do the certain things, then I'm okay.
Like what?
So before I'm doing anything, I like grab my trucks on the board and I just yank them to one side as hard as I can. I don't know why. Like, your board's supposed to roll straight or left or right, like however you like it. For whatever reason, I started doing this as a kid. I probably had shitty trucks or something as a kid, and I'd have to like turn them, like pull on them a little bit because the hardware was loose to the right, so I could do my trick and not have my board going to the left. So my board obviously doesn't have that problem anymore, but I do it constantly. Like especially if I'm nervous about something. I don't even know that I'm nervous. I just realize, oh, I'm doing this shit again. Like that's probably why. But yeah, I have to sit there and like, I've had friends film me doing it. I'm just like, just pulling it like as hard as like for no reason. I'm just
even
like
on a new board with nice
new
trucks,
board, brand new trucks, brand new wheels. I'm just like, and once I do it, I feel better about it. And then I'll like set my board down. I'll push it with my foot a little bit, and then once I do that stuff, like the ritual or whatever, there's a ton of skateboarders that do it, but once I do that stuff, I feel okay. And then I'm like, okay, nothing bad's gonna happen now. Now I did all my things.
And that just kind of eases it right into it.
And I'm sure that's just displacing whatever I'm feeling of like, shit, I'm going to get hurt or something.
Yeah.
But once I do that, It's all gone.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Do you do any other type of extreme sports? Just skating and running? And
Skating, yeah, nothing extreme.
No.
Yeah. Climb. I used to climb a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Probably the same stuff you did.
Oh, I climbed a lot.
Yeah.
I used to climb so much that I had to stop because of how many close calls I've had. Just branches breaking.
Yeah.
Just dumb stuff, sliding down, cutting up your whole chest on bark.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Why am I climbing trees like this?
Yeah, my dad was a big climber too. Like
it's fun. The mapping of it,
Yeah, my 21st birthday, he calls me up. He's like, "Yeah, let's go out and climb a tree together." And then he takes me out to Payless, and we go to some pine trees and we climb up it. I'm like, we're getting up pretty high. I'm just like, fuck this, like this is scary. And he's above me. I'm like, dude, you're in your 50s. You need to get down. He's like, no. And he loves telling his stories too. No. I used to climb this same tree as a kid, but we'd have a 24-pack of beer in our hand, and we'd climb to the top and drink them. We'd be so messed up, it'd be scary to climb down, all this stuff. And he's still like that. My dad.
Oh, our dads have stories.
Yeah, he's a silly guy.
So many stories that sometimes they won't even tell them because they're so like that. Like I know a guy, I won't say his name, but he's in his 70s, and he's like, yeah, back in the 60s, we would just, he's from Oak Lawn, he's like, yeah, we'd just take our cars, we'd all pitch in, buy like a $200 car, go to like the fields off LaGrange back when no one was there. This is 50 years ago. Like we'd all just get a bunch of beer and just crash our cars and just crash into each other and blow them up at the end, like set them on fire.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
Yeah.
Like what?
It was a little different back then.
Yeah, and it's not that far from here. Like I would never do that now. I was like, but then again, I was like, man, if I was in the middle of nowhere, that does sound kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a guy thing, I think, too. Just like, I have like...
Destruction?
Yeah. Guys just have a natural, like, our problem-solving skills is just so much different than women. I swear. It's like
it's
night
why
and day.
they're smarter than us, to be honest.
My immediate reaction to something is like, break it.
Yeah.
Like that's like
Plus
force.
smash.
Yeah, like if something's not working, I just want to squeeze it and like force it to work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You have no idea how many times I go like, oh, we could just burn that.
Yeah.
Like, what should we do with this piano? It's like, well, we could just burn it.
Yeah, burn it.
Like, wait, you're not going to throw it out or put it on Craigslist? You're like, no, it's wood. It'd be cool.
Hit it with a hammer a few times too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I used to love just like, we have an old TV. It's like, what should we do with that? Let's just blow it up.
Yeah.
Smash it with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Dumb stuff.
Yeah, now I'm on like the parenting side of that too. Now it's like, Freddie, Michelle's son, my future stepson, he was the same way. He's just like, guys just, and I get it. Like, so she's this is like her problem is that she tries to actually wrap her head around why. Like she's always, why are you guys like that? Why are you guys so destructive?
There's no
It's
reason.
like, no, there's no, because for every thought every 50 thoughts you have, we have half a thought.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, this will look cool. I'll break it in slow motion. It's a cool video, and that's it.
Our brains rationalize differently.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of it being taught, like we're allowed. Like boys have always been allowed. Like, yeah, boys will be boys. Get dirt.
Yeah.
Like, so we're kind of pushed to be that way by society. Like, it's just, we're allowed to be more like that.
Yeah.
We just are. But it also, I think, stems from the way our brains work. Like, we don't have to carry a baby. We don't have to breastfeed. We don't have to give birth. We don't have to think about those repercussions at all. We try to. Like, we really try to, but, like, it's only so much we could empathize with something we don't do.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, it's like, we get bored with ourselves. We don't have those thoughts. They're not naturally occurring. We have to try to think ahead and be conscious of, like, ourselves and a kid and a woman's body and all those things. We have to, like, try so much harder to get to those places because it doesn't happen to us.
No.
And that's, like, I've said this before, and I'll always say, like, it's a weird competition to be like, oh, like, who's smarter, who's better, men, women. It's like, they're so different, and I think women are significantly
Smarter, better.
Smarter when it comes to rationale, emotional intelligence, thinking ahead, planning ahead, like, in a way that we're like, oh, I plan ahead, like, oh, this man, he's a CEO, runs a company. It's like, no, it's not that. It's a more in-depth, like, introspective planning ahead and, like, thinking in a way that isn't just like, I want to take this. It's not so much like other things oriented. It's more self-oriented. It seems like women are very in tune with those things. Like the way my mom would handle a situation versus my dad was just so night and day.
Oh my God! Yeah.
My dad would be like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, go do it. He'd see us up late at night. He'd just laugh, like, okay, and he'd just go to work. My mom was just like, get to bed. You got school. Like, just thinking in ways that he's just like, I don't know, like,
Well, and just handling situations in general, the difference
so
between
much
men
better.
and women. My mom's like anything thrown at her, she will balance it, fix it, anything. Like just, oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, we will work like this. I could do that. She already has a plan for that plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same with Michelle. It's like anything is like, oh no, yeah, I already have a folder for that. Like that's my dad is like, where's my fucking hammer? It's like, it's right there. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Yeah. Where's no T no like that, like like every single anything that go wrong. I don't know where the map is. Like just everything is just like, and I'm the same way. I have my patience level is low.
Yeah.
I try to be more patient, but
patience. That's another thing. It seems like women have a lot more of is patience.
Yeah.
We have this I want it and I want it now mentality as a man. Doesn't really help our cause, but I'm learning. I'm trying every day to like be more aware of it.
Yeah.
That natural biology we have, but also like, again, society being like, yeah, you could do that. You're a guy. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
Make
Some
a
of it
mistake.
is natural too, though.
Some
for
of it is
sure.
very
Like
natural.
like nobody. There's things the kids didn't teach me, or people didn't teach me as a kid. Like I naturally wanted to just dig a giant hole in my backyard for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'll dig something up.
Dig or climb up or just break something.
Break.
Like, just how many of my G.I. Joes can I throw off my roof and watch them break? Like, yeah, no one taught me that.
Yeah.
And even know, I would just sneak out the window and do it myself. It's like those types of things. So, yeah, it's interesting.
To this day, I love the sound of glass breaking. I love it. 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 I don't know why.
I used to break a lot of glass.
I break a ton of glass, or did.
Yeah, I don't do it
do
anymore.
it as much anymore, but like if there's a chance, like if there's any opportunity for me to break glass, I'm doing it.
I saw you eyeing this mug. You're like, hey, is it okay if I just smash it on the table?
Just get to the handle part.
Boom. Yeah, I used to, in the forest behind my house, there was always a bunch of old beer bottles. I used to love as a kid just taking rocks and just smashing them. For no reason. Never thought like, this is my yard. I probably need to clean these up someday. No, there's just a bunch of broken glass back there. I'd smash them, take the BB gun, just shoot a bunch of bottles. I'm like, didn't think at all about the repercussions of where that glass was going. It's on my property. Yeah, it's funny. That's so funny you said smashing.
Smashing, yeah.
Don't do it anymore, but I do think about it. I just don't do it.
Yeah, now it's translated to like IKEA furniture and somehow like fucking that up. I do the same thing. I'm like, I know I read the directions, but like I sometimes I just think I know it already. Like I'm like I just feel like this is the piece. And I'm like, it's not the fucking piece. Fuck.
Oh, I hate IKEA furniture.
I'm not allowed to put it. It's you know what though? I've always said like we've said this too. Is like if you can get through building IKEA furniture together as a couple, you're good. Like if you guys don't kill each other and you don't hate each other afterwards, you're gonna make it.
That's funny. That's a great barometer. Like, can you make it through putting together furniture?
Yeah, because Michelle's pretty dominant, and I'm pretty dominant. Yeah, but I totally back down to her. She's the one in charge.
That's what every this is a PSA announcement for all men.
Yeah.
One day you'll realize you must yield and bend the knee.
Oh, I yield. Yeah, I yield for sure.
You will one day realize, no matter how tough, big, smart, wise you think you are, you're never going to get to that place. Again, back to that chemistry of a woman. Like, they have something we don't have.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, we're this and that. We're stronger on average. It's like, that doesn't matter.
No.
Like, you don't, like, what keeps you alive longer in modern day America on planet Earth is your brain. Not brute strength,
No.
That was hundreds of years ago. Now it's how wise can you live for avoiding accidents, longevity, planning ahead, health, education, all that leads to a longer life, and women got that down.
Yeah.
Much
well,
better.
they think about their longer life.
Yeah. Again, the kid thing. It's innate, just like it's not innate to us for us to think about it because we don't bear kids,
No, and now like being basically, step parent, whatever you want to call it. I've lived with, my kids for years now, and it's like I think about things totally different. And when I'm like a simple bike ride, I'm like, oh, don't get hurt. Don't like one of these like to the kids, I'm like, oh, just don't fall and get hurt. Like I'm, like it, it's just it's totally different. Things I would have never worried about.
For yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I just know how to do this. And they know how to do it. And they're not thinking of it like that. But I'm like, oh, man, just 40 minutes, like I'm counting the minute, making sure like they're safe.
That's the balance, right, of what makes a good parent is one that is aware of those things, but lets the kid like grow.
Yeah.
Not micromanage the kid, not be that nerfing parent who just has to pad down the whole universe.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're in the forest and there's grass, like maybe like let the kid fall. Yeah. And like they're not going to die. They're going to fall in some grass and be like, oh, shoot, I took that turn too hard. Now they know.
Yeah.
They'll never do that again, you know? It's
I
important.
fell and I lived. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think
important.
we've all, you fell and you lived.
Oh my God. That was bad. Yeah, my mom was not happy about that. It was funny too, because like what we're talking about, I remember I was gone for 3 days. I didn't want to come home after that accident because I knew my mom would be so mad at me. And I strolled up, you know, with my cast and all, just like limping, broken tailbone, couldn't really sit for 9 months. Jeez. And my dad was just sweeping the driveway, and he just looked at me and he's like, well, wait till your mom sees. He just didn't even care. He's like, I'm not going to deal with this. And I walk into my door right here, and I just open it. My mom's at the computer table. She looks at me, and she's just like, just starts screaming, and doesn't care that I'm alive. She's not worried about that. She's mad that I even got hurt to begin with. And she's like, how are you supposed to make money? What are you doing? This, and I was just like, it was an accident. Like, she just reamed me, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to my friend's house for a week because I'm scared to be here. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, I'm glad you're okay.
No. Why did you do that?
Because I was 20. It wasn't like I was 8. If I was 8, she'd have been like, oh, I'm so glad you're alive. She's like, you're an adult. Why are you making those decisions and mistakes, you know? And I was like, yeah, she's not wrong. I could have died. Like, I didn't have any protection, bouncing around off concrete at high speeds. Very, very dangerous. And people die doing that every day, you know? So, but it was really funny. Like, he just didn't care. He was just sweeping, like, yeah, your mom's going to kill you. It's like, oh, no. When your dad is just like, I don't even want to deal with it.
No.
That's when you know it's not good.
Deal with anything. No. They're not built for it. Just some people aren't built for that.
Dads have gotten better. I think, like, being told how to handle kids, like, you know, talk to them instead of hitting them, stuff like that has gotten much better in the last, 20, 30 years, I think. When I was a kid, it wasn't so much like that, but it's gotten a lot better.
No. My dad's a softie. He never... I got hit by my mom.
Oh,
thanks,
nice.
Mom. No. My mom beat me. No, she got me. She got me when I deserved it.
There's that weird turning point, like what you just said. Like, she got me when I deserved it. Like, people of our generation are like, yeah, don't hit your kids, but like, I kind of deserved it when I got hit when I was.
Yeah, I was being nasty, man.
But isn't that funny? We're like told not to do it, and I would never do it. But you're just like, but we did get hit, and our parents got hit, and everyone was fine. So you're kind of like, there's that weird balance. Like, is it okay? Is it not? Does it work? Does just verbal, like yelling, does that even work? Like, what do you...
No. There's no foul. I don't know.
There's no right answer.
I don't know.
There's no right answer, right?
Yeah.
You could yell at a kid all you want. If they're the type of kid that's just like, yeah, your words don't scare me, then what do you...
Nothing. You beat them. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know.
Then, like, you do that, but then that could lead to...
It doesn't do anything.
Serious problems, too.
No, and it didn't do anything.
That doesn't do anything either.
No, all it does is like... Oh, I gotta not say that in front of her.
I'll still drop the F-bomb, just not in front of mom. Yeah. Right. Yeah, there's a better way to teach. You have to get within the kid's mind and like kind of rationalize it, what it's like to be 10 years old. Explain stuff more thoroughly, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But that's hard to do when you're pissed, when you're in the moment. You got home from work, you just worked 12 hours, and your wife's like, hey, Tommy did this, and that. You can do something about it? And you're just like, oh my God, like, I just want to like crack a beer and drink dinner, or have dinner, you know? Yeah.
Like, no, my dad was too soft. He could never.
That's good though.
He had a soft spot. He could never hit me. But my mom. When I say that though, I gotta be clear to say I wasn't getting like beat left and right. I got smacked for being really shitty as a teenager.
Oh yeah,
as like most teenagers are. I just was going through the weird.
That's the tricky one.
Hormones you don't even know what to do with, and you just take it all out on mom, who's like doing everything to help you. And then,
that's a weird one because they're so old. As a parent, you're probably like, I want to hit this person. Like, this is an adult who's acting like a fool, and I thought I raised them right. Yeah. It's like you almost want to just slap them.
Yeah. If I were me, I would have slapped me.
But
like
then
I wouldn't talk to anybody else. Like, not that I was never like, fuck you, or so, I never did that. But just being shitty for I would never be like that to anybody. But moms, they got to deal with everything.
Mm-hmm. And the kids' friends being obnoxious, like a bunch of guys, teenage boys, it's bad.
It's like a bunch of vampires being together. That's why I'm surprised. Like, you seem to do well living with a group of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you get, it's like vampires. Like if once they're all together, they get all.
Do you have experience with these vampires?
No. Well, I am werewolf, but
me too.
But the vampires, when they get together, they get crazy when they're in their nests.
Mm-hmm. It's a balance.
According to True Blood.
The show.
My favorite vampire show.
The first season of that show was decent. Then it just got crazy. When it got like further and further into like werewolves and fairies and magic, I was just like,
that's my shit.
It brings me back to watching HBO at like 19 years old.
Yeah.
Man. That's living with people. It just becomes a balance, just like it does when you live with your family. You have to just be more aware of stuff, and it honestly just takes practice. Like I always tell my roommates, like there's really just two things you got to do. It's like clean up after yourself and just be aware of your surroundings. Like, is it 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday? Did one of my roommates go to bed? Maybe I shouldn't blast music. Just little things. You just got to accept it, because the trade-off is you have people around you, you have more things you can utilize with each other, and you have cheaper rent. Like you're saving money. So you got to like weigh that against each other and just be conscientious of it. That's all. It's challenging, but I would say it's not as challenging as living on your own during a pandemic, spending $2,000 a month on rent, instead of just splitting all of that and having people around. So it has its ups and downs, but I prefer it given the situation. So
how many current people you got?
Right now, 5. There's 5 rooms, 5 of us. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was 3, and then pandemic happened, and people had to move back in, and it helped everyone. It helped everybody out. People lost jobs. Roommates lost jobs. It got wacky. I lost a lot of DZ Records work and stuff. Had to cancel DZ Fest. So everyone benefited, and I didn't realize how long this would happen, like this year.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, man, the long-term effects of having people around during this time. I was like, oh. Like, at the beginning, I was upset. I was like, man, like, I was going this way with, like,
your stuff,
having less roommates and my progress with work, and then had to just backtrack the other way. But now that it's been a year, I'm, like, so grateful, because this year taught me how to focus on myself more. I had so much time alone, not having all that work, so I focused on my health, emotional, mental, and physical health. And then other people who needed it that had to move back in, it benefited them too, because everyone was going through a hard thing this year. It was a really strange year. If you didn't have friends or family around, could break your mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was bittersweet. On paper, you're like, oh no, like you're 31 years old and you have 5 roommates. It's like, I mean, what are you going to do? It's better than having nothing and like losing it all, or spending a ton of money and wasting all your savings on rent just so you could live alone, and then have that weird isolation where you're not seeing anybody. It's having long-term effects on people's minds,
Yeah, it's different. It's not 1960 anymore either, though. So it's like having, 31 years old means nothing now. That's like 18 back then. It's like you're still, we're in more of like a progressive world where it's like your age doesn't matter. What you do doesn't matter at what age anymore. There's people that are 40 that are starting new careers. There's
for some people, they live up to those. They have these arbitrary measurements. They're like, well, on this, I must be doing that. I mean, someone like you, someone like me, I've never been able to get to that. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just doing everything I want to do.
No, I do everything backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, my fiance is 40 years old. I'm 28 years old. I lived in a house when we were, since I was 24, we started renting the house that we're in. I have stepchildren that are 18 and 14 as a 28-year-old. So it's all, it's like,
you realize it doesn't matter.
No, nothing matters.
It's about how you feel.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Absolutely.
Then that's it.
Yeah.
I tell myself that if anybody says anything, it's like, hey, I love what I do for work. I love my friends and roommates. I love that I have a podcast studio. I love that I have a recording studio. I love that I have a music festival. Like, I don't know. I'm happy doing those things. I don't know what else I need to say. Like, it doesn't matter, these measurements.
No.
People, your parents and like older folks will compare, like, well, when I was your age, we had this, and that. I was like, yeah, but were you ever comparing yourself to your grandparents who were born in 1920?
Yeah.
When they were your age, they went through the Great War and fought off people and had to kill people and had kids at a young age and had 15 of them or 11 of them.
Life expectancy was like 50.
It's like, so what are we doing here? Like, times have changed and there's different expectations, and I have different dreams and goals and agendas in life,
Yeah, I think it just gets better for me. For me, at least, it's been better and better every year. I mean, this
I
last year, this last year sucked in the sense that the world sucked.
Yeah.
But it was a good year, like you just said. I mean, focusing on like turning into the people that are with you and being able to you're stuck together.
What have you learned from just yourself? What has Tommy Lyons done
in 2020?
from March 2020 to April 2021?
Trying to think, what have I done? No, I got so right at the end of 2019, throughout 2019, I started focusing a little bit too much on work projects. I'm kind of obsessive with everything I do. So it's when I started focusing on work projects, I started not running. I started not thinking about my health as much. Gained some lbs, and then 2020 was okay, this is gonna be a year I'm not old. I was starting to get sucked into okay, this is my job. This is what I do 40 hours a week. This is what my focus should be on. And then 2020 hit, and I was like, you know what? That's not what I should be focusing on. And I was like, I want to feel like I did as a kid, or just young, or just I need to have energy. I need to have a reason to not be tired all the time. And I just kind of switched that mentality. And then when everything happened was right when I was kind of switching that mentality, and I was like, okay, now the kids are home all the time with me, and Michelle's home and I'm home, and I mean I was still working, but now it was now that we're around each other and there's no teachers, there's no anything, we were able to spend a lot of time together and do different things, especially during this where we couldn't do much. We were just stuck getting to know each other even more. I mean, I don't know, teenagers are weird, but
I can't imagine.
But I feel so
too,
bad for them. It was a rough year, and that's why I was glad I was able to be there.
Yeah.
And they look to us a lot. I mean, for being teenagers, being stuck at home, not seeing your friends, nobody wants to hang out with their parents all the time. But
no, not at that age.
I feel happy that they wanted to hang out with me and be around me. Man, whether it was intentional or not, or just stuck, yeah. But it was nice to get to do a lot more, even just at home, and not want to kill each other still.
Yeah, you're in an interesting situation with that. Teenagers, your age, and then Michelle's age. It's an interesting dynamic for the pandemic. But teenagers, that's who I feel bad for the most, especially seniors in high school, seniors in college, people at the end of an era, a rite of passage, and they have to spend it online or in their house. I'm just man, that was such a formative time. Senior year of high school is arguably one of the best times ever, especially if you're one of those kids that you have all blow off classes, you're kind of skating by, you finished all your gen ed stuff.
And for some people it's their prime.
Yeah, it's their prime.
This is they're the king at
I see what you're saying.
The king of high school.
You're jabbing at the people who peaked in high school. I see what you just did there. Hey, that's real. That's a real thing. The older you get, the more you see that, and it's
sad.
I'm not trying to belittle anyone, but it definitely can be a little sad. You're life goes on. You don't have to focus about that. That was a long time ago. Keep moving forward. You don't have to be someone who
talked about what they did.
Yeah, lack of better words, peaked in high school. I mean, it could be a little mean, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's funny, but because we all know, and there's people who peak at 60, and I try not to think of the peak. I try to think of that. It sounds corny, but just that journey.
Yeah.
I think you peak when you die.
Do you watch It's Always Sunny at all, or no?
Oh, yeah. I've watched the whole thing.
When I peak, you'll feel it. Everyone in Philadelphia will feel it when I peak.
My favorite episode of that show, what was it, season 10 or 11 or 12, Charlie Work, that episode, he runs around the whole time, one continuous shot. There's definitely some trickery, but so funny.
Yeah.
So funny when Frank's in the basement playing the clarinet, and he's play a G sharp or something like that. He listens to it. He's becomes this genius for one episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's how they all are. I mean,
oh, what a great show.
Probably my favorite show of all time.
I love those shows because, between something like that or The Office, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld, there are shows that people they wouldn't be able to do that now. It's no, it's pretty sound comedy. The Office one is funny because I get why a lot of people say that, but it's like, no, you don't understand the joke. Like, the joke is everyone's aware that what Michael Scott is saying is not good or PC or right. Even then, they're always rolling their eyes. They're always like, Michael, don't say that or do that.
Yeah.
And he's such a nice person. He's not aware that he's an old dude, like, not aware that what he's saying is offensive.
Yeah.
You know, like when you would have like the handicapped guy come in with the wheelchair and he's just trying to compare like his foot being clamped in the George Foreman grill to it. And the guy's just like, no, like he's trying to get there. It's like, that's what makes it funny. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's inappropriate. I'd say it's actually like fine. That could come out now. It's like the whole team, the whole office is fully aware that this guy's a fool and an idiot.
Yeah.
But it's so nice that they're just kind of like, because he's so nice, they're just like, ugh, Michael, like shaking their head at him all the time. And I think that could come on. They'd probably have to finesse it differently and like write it differently, but the concept is still going to happen, you know?
Well, and It's Always Sunny. It's like, these characters are bad people.
Yeah.
And I love that about that. Like everybody, it's all stuff like people like, I don't know how to even explain it. It's, everything that normal people probably feel at some point. Like, I love when people are talking. Like, you know, they do it about 1,000 times throughout the show. Somebody will be talking and trying to explain something to them, and they're just like this. They'll actually, like, okay, come on.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. What are you getting at? Like, the whole time they're talking.
They're all self-serving.
Yeah.
They do not care about anything but themselves.
No, and they turn on each other all the time, and they just no loyalty to...
Egomaniac, sociopaths.
Yeah, it's just so good. I quote the show probably every day, just different stuff, but...
God.
Yeah.
Man. Do you watch a lot of TV?
Now, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
I'm proud to say I watch a lot of TV now. I not grew up, but I was definitely not a TV person ever. And I was kind of stuck in like a weird... I'm a big VHS fan. I love 80s action movies. Huge.
Wait, name some of your 80s action movies.
Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3, Lethal Weapon 4.
That gets into the 90s, though.
Yeah, I was going to say that, 92 to 98 there, but, yeah. Some kid at the skate park, I was wearing I have a Murtaugh shirt, Sergeant Murtaugh, and it was like, I forget what the shirt says, but he's like, who is that on your shirt? I'm like, have you seen Lethal Weapon? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, kid.
Now, is this just like when you were a kid, you'd watch those on your own with your dad or something?
I probably saw them as a kid, but I got really into them at like 19 and 20. Like That's interesting. I wanted to be that. Like, I don't know why. I loved it. I had a mullet. I'll show you a picture. I got a mullet picture in my old license, but I thought it looked great. I loved the whole look of it. I liked the 80s cop action stuff, and I still...
That music, that like slow like blues guitar.
Yeah.
Like when the cop messed up, when he's like in the bar just like drinking his sorrows away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
Clapton did the whole soundtrack for Lethal Weapon.
I could totally hear it.
Yeah, that... I can name some random ones that nobody knows. A lot of Michael Keaton, like One Good Cop, or there's all kinds of shitty ones.
Steven Seagal ones.
Seagal's the only one I won't watch. That guy just sucks. That guy is just...
That's what makes him so good, because they're so bad.
My grandma hated him, so he was like... I guess he had like kids, and he didn't pay child support, and he did all this stuff. So if my grandma hated somebody, and she was a tough little thing, like smoker, and she always talked to me about movies and stuff. And she's like, Steven Seagal, he's a shitty,
that's a funny thing.
Guy. I'm like, all right,
I don't. The woman is like, he's just not a good person in real life. Therefore, I will not support his art.
Yeah. And I've hated Steven, and I forgot why I hated him, and now I remember why. Yeah, that guy sucks.
Oh, what about like Bloodsport? Like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jean-Claude's cool. I'm not like I'm more like any Mel Gibson movie, Bruce Willis, like obviously Die Hard, but The Last Boy Scout, that's really good with Wayans.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff. But
yeah.
I really was going for I'll show you why we're on air. I'll show you the old mullet.
The old mullet.
Yeah. And
mullets have come back, huh? I've seen them more now than ever.
I think so. At the time I had it, it wasn't back.
No.
And I don't think there was another person on the planet. There's my Blue Cross Blue Shield, Social Security card.
Oh, you're one of those people that carries a Social Security card.
No, you know what? I don't have it on me, but I
just say that.
I just leave it in my car, actually. So if you're ever trying to steal
Why do you leave it in your car?
Because I'm an idiot.
That needs to be hiding in your house somewhere.
I just took it out because I am going to get married one of these days. So I was like, I need to find my Social Security card. And I don't know if this goes. Oh yeah, it
Oh
goes
my
under.
God.
Yeah. So,
oh boy.
I'm the only one that thought they looked good, but I really thought like at that time, and I still to this day I'm like that's a good haircut for me.
You look like Kiefer Sutherland from The Lost Boys.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that was
more or
1988,
less, yeah.
87 or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you could see in the left ear, I used to have an earring. I had a PBR.
That's what makes it even more.
I had a PBR beer can earring.
That's great.
Yeah, I wore it on special occasion.
That is so funny. I never rocked a mullet. Never got to.
You got the hair for it too. You could do it.
I know
Curly hair.
Yeah, the curly hair is where it's at.
Yeah.
I know some people who have done it. It's funny.
Straight mullet. That's too Kid Rocky.
I've always been like with beard and hair. It's just you cut it down and let it go out.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like nothing else.
Yeah, it doesn't grow long. It grows up.
Just
grows
the
out.
beard. I don't do anything fancy to it. It's like it goes out. I cut it. It goes out.
Looks like you keep it trimmed up though, pretty good.
I just trimmed it like 2 days ago, but I'll grow it out for 4 months. Trim it again.
I was up pretty early this morning. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll get cleaned up. I'll get the beard. I'll dial everything in, and then I got distracted. I forgot all about it until I was driving here. I'm like, I should have trimmed up the beard.
Fine.
It's all right.
The camera, I mean, it picks it up, but, it doesn't matter.
Adds 10 pounds.
It's YouTube. YouTube doesn't care about how you look.
No.
They just care about, I don't know. I don't know what YouTube cares about. It's mostly men on YouTube. It's like 75% male.
Yeah, something with the microphones. I forget, the words don't come out no good. It's like, with the screen and the lights, then I get all nervous. I'm like,
Does it feel like you're in a studio?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice. That's the goal.
Yeah, I'm funnier in real life. No. Oh, it's good, but
Man, so what made you interested in working for the Forest Preserves? How'd you get that type of job?
Went to Columbia College.
Me too.
Got my film degree, so that was my stepping stone for totally unrelated work.
Yeah.
No.
When did you graduate from there?
2010.
Wow, early. Wait, how old are you?
28.
You graduated from Columbia in 2010?
Oh, 2014.
I was going to say, you graduated
Christ.
high school in
Yeah.
2010. I was like,
That was
wow.
high school, college.
You're an evil genius.
I can't-
Graduated
I
high
can't-
school at, 14?
I forgot what year. I started in 2010. Graduated in 2014.
Right.
There we go.
I did too, 2014.
Oh, man. So we were probably at the same graduation. Did you go to graduation?
Yeah, I did at Chicago Theater. It was bumping.
Shit.
It was
I
a
didn't
party.
I wish I would have known.
Yeah, well, we were in the
That was
sound
huge.
department. It was huge. It was I've never been to such a fun commencement ceremony in my life.
Yeah.
It was a legit party. Lights flickering, jazz
Everything-
band playing, people dancing up and down the aisles. I was like, this is... I
That's
wish
how
they were always
Columbia
like this.
is too. Everything they did was all out.
It was
I always
fun.
thought, the refillable water things, every just
Yeah.
little stuff that school did. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a fun school. It was cool.
But while I was going to school, I worked for my old boss Paul, who passed away, R.I.P. He had a contract with the Belt Railway, and I did landscaping work, and we did, we worked along the embankments, and I did it every year from the time I got out of school till the time I went back, and I just learned how to do different, tree work and brush cutting work and landscaping.
Is that an
mowing.
arborist?
It's not an arborist, but I mean, more or less, we were cutting up, trees that had fallen, dead tree removal, stuff like that.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, so I did that until I graduated college, pretty much. And then I also interned while I was going to college for a film company, and I didn't like the work that I was doing at the time. We were doing commercials, and it was we were filming at colleges, and you'd film the same scene 50 times of a kid saying, I like Governor State or something.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me, and I'm sure there was other stuff too. I was, planning on moving, and then I was like, you know what, I want to just take the summer and work outdoors and work, I was pretty active at the time too. I've always liked being outdoors. So
What was your major at Columbia?
film.
Was there a specific focus? 'Cause I know
Mainly production design,
Production
design.
design.
Set construction
Right.
and, just different artwork.
That's cool.
Or not drawing, but
Art design for production.
yeah,
design.
art design, costume, production, pretty much production design in general. So it was just, the color of the rooms, painting, whatever. We would put up wood trim or, whatever we wanted to do.
My friend Mikey did that. Mikey Giannone. I think he might have graduated a year or two before you. I had a couple friends who went there for film and sound. So that's the place you go to if you live around here and you want to do film or sound. You go to Columbia. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I'm I learned a lot about, because I went for audio design production, and so I learned a lot about like the stuff I don't want to do with it, but then the stuff I do want to do with it, like just recording bands.
Yeah,
you know.
which you do a great job of
Thank
doing
you.
now. Yeah,
it's fun.
It's paid off for you for sure.
It's fun. It's cool to be able to do it, and like, it's not often someone gets to go to like an art school and then apply that art to their real life. You know, it's rare and it's hard, but it's cool, and I'm grateful for it. But I always loved film. That was something like a secondary thing I wanted to do was like film.
Yeah.
So, such a big fan of movies and film and the set design, the art design. Like, we could talk about that all day if you want.
Well, do you film your own videos for DZ?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you get to do that.
Yeah.
You don't get to think about it. Your music videos look great. You got definitely a DZ vibe.
It's fun.
I like it.
It's fun. And the basement just kind of shapes it, the colors and the objects and the artwork everywhere. You know?
Yeah, even this room, it's well put together. I do like it a lot.
It's a tiny room, but it works for two people. It's a good one-on-one interview space, you know.
Yeah, I watched a couple of the podcasts, so I was trying to picture what the room would be like. It was good.
Is this how it is in the podcast world when you watch it?
Yeah, it's very intimate.
Yeah.
It's very intimate.
I can't wait for when not everyone, but whoever's on is vaccinated and we can possibly get rid of this plexiglass.
Pop these bad boys off.
It's just not as fun as just being there with the person. I mean, you're here, but it's blocking us.
Yeah, it's like a train station vibe. Like it's like here.
Yeah, and you can kind of see your own reflection when you're looking at me, right? And I could see myself.
Oh no, I'm beaming. I've been beaming straight through this thing.
I'm beaming. I see myself like next to your face, and it's throwing me off.
Once in a while, yeah, I'll catch this. I'm like, ugh, get that guy out of here.
Oh, that's funny. So do you when you were a kid and you would skateboard at the park, Freedom Park, in Chicago Ridge, did you venture off to other skate parks too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we would skate to parks.
Skate like Hickory Hills. Would you go there?
Hickory was a little more rare. We mainly stayed between Blue Park, Oak Lawn, and Alsip, and those were like the three main ones. Hickory was like a once in a while thing. I don't know why, but I've always liked Hickory Park a lot. But that wasn't one of our main ones. Every time we did go up there, it would be like that exact crew, like Lil Chris and Rizzle or Ryan.
Yeah, Rizzle.
I still think Rizzle when I see Ryan.
I mean, that his crew, like Ryan's crew, I met them in a funny way. I worked at Subway on 95th and 88th by Fairplay. Back then it was Shop and Save.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked at that Subway there, you know, where there was the Baskin Robbins and the Domino's and Subway in that shopping center. And they would always come in for like free water. Because it'd be skateboarding. They'd come there, and I was 16. They were probably 14, 15. And Ryan was like the only one who wouldn't be like obnoxious. Like they'd like do a kickflip in the lobby and like mess around, make a mess, and like not order anything. And he'd actually order a sandwich. And he'd be like apologizing for them, like, oh, I'm sorry about these guys. Like, It was really funny though. Like I met them all through that, and then I started working at Blockbuster down the street where Chase is now on Roberts Road and 95th. And again, these, you know, skateboarding kids would come in there and I'd see them there. And so like I kind of knew them through my working in Hickory Hills. And I'd go to the skate park here and there, but not much. I was a little bit older and I just kind of stopped skateboarding once I went there and I came down the half pipe and I slipped and my face went into the ledge of the pipe and my teeth went through my lip.
Oh, gee.
And that's when I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah, see, you're a smart man.
I was like 14. I was like, I don't have it. I don't got what it takes. Instantly knew. I gave up right away. But yeah, I knew all those guys that way. And then once we got older and started playing music, I realized a lot of them were in bands. And Ryan's band, you know, Esta Viva, we started to play together here. And like the Avantis and Esta Viva were like the first bands, along with mine, to like play DZ Fest and play the shows we'd have every month, you know? So it's like they're very formative in those years.
They're the pioneers.
Yeah.
They're part of the pioneers of DZ.
Yeah, they really are.
I mean, you're the pioneer, obviously, but no, it's amazing. I love hearing random people talk about DZ, like just random. Yeah, like, oh yeah. I'm like, I know that guy. I know him. All right, I know the guy who owns it, who owns DZ.
It's weird. It's a weird thing because I've explained this to friends like DZ, anything, DZ Fest, DZ Records, this podcast, all that. It doesn't really reflect well on the internet. It's way more of like a word of mouth thing.
Yeah.
Like way more.
I mean, it reflects well on the internet too. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
It does, but like not as much as I think it does just like people talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I saw your million views post, so it must be reflecting a little bit. A little bit, but...
A little bit, but man, like, it's just so much more fun to just like go to a restaurant somewhere and the waiter's just like, DZ? You know,
like a
stuff
Godfather type of thing. I like it. Like, here's a free Sammy. This guy's, hey, Paulie, take care of DZ guy right here. Yeah.
It's just, it's so much better than just getting a bunch of recognition on the internet because it's more real.
Yeah.
Like you go to the store and the bagger is like, oh, I went to your fest. Like that's the type of stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Like it's way better than, oh, I got 1,000 likes on my post. It's like, do these people don't even care? They don't even know you.
You feel it when you're here. Like everybody feels it. It's a good vibe.
It's more fun. It's more fun when it's visceral and you can, meet people and it's just nice. Like, oh yeah, your fest is cool, man. Like that's subtle. It's nothing weird or
You
crazy.
guys are the reason I'm together with Michelle.
Really?
Sparked my whole
When did you meet her here?
So I re-met her here. So I met her at Durbin's in Payless Hills. Avantist was doing a show.
On 103rd and Roberts?
Yeah. So I was going to see David, and then...
I think I was at that show.
You might have been. January 23rd, 2015.
Yeah, I think I set up the sound for it.
Oh, okay. So you were there too. Yeah. So I was going to say, there were quite a few people there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went, and then I went with, to see David, and then I brought my camera with. I was filming some videos of him before the show, and... I was hung out in the smoking section because I like secondhand smoking. And I'm addicted to it, actually.
Secondhand smoke?
No, but I do. Yeah, my buddies are Dalkey and all those guys are smokers. Yeah. So I hung out there, and I heard there was someone off to the side. We were talking about someone broke their nose or something. I heard like, and I look over. It's Michelle. And immediately I was, like a little high pitched, and I was like, who's that? And it was just one of those things. I've never felt like that with anybody. Like I knew right then. I'm like, oh, that's the person I'm marrying. Before I even when I looked at her and I heard her, I had like a weird primal thing, and ever since then, but. I almost blew it pretty much because I started talking to her, and we were talking for a little bit, and then Payless came up and kind of ruined the moment. He was hanging all over.
He did what Payless does.
Yeah, he's just a terrible person. No, he was just hanging all over me.
I love John Payless.
Yeah, he was hanging all over me, and then she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go inside now." So I go inside, and I was like, "I gotta get." That's not really my thing, but I was like, "I gotta get her number and talk to her." I go inside, and there was some guy standing with her. I was like, I'm also not that guy to be like, well, can I get your number in front of another guy standing there? So I was like, all right, well, I don't know. I guess I'll go to the taco place next door. The next week, I came here, and you guys were doing a show here, a little
intimate evening. January.
Yes.
Yeah, third. That would have been.
It was the following week, I think. Or maybe 2 weeks after.
Yeah, it was January 31st, 2015. We had mattresses and stuff on the ground. Yeah, Michelle was there.
Yeah.
I remember who played that one. Wow.
Yeah.
That was one of the first few we did.
Now, when I saw her there, then I was like, okay, we just saw each other twice in a week span of time. And then we started dating right afterwards.
Well,
we've been together ever since. And we've gone to every DZ Fest up until the last year since. And we've enjoyed every one of them.
Yeah. Did you go to the 2012, 13, or 14 ones?
I went to 14.
So 14, 15.
That was when because I didn't really know you guys before that. But yeah, 2014 was the first one I went to, and then 15, 16, 17.
That makes sense because I saw you in I went through my old hard drive the other day, and I got lost in it for hours. I forgot how much footage I have from 2012, 13, 14, 15. That's when I first got my camera. And we have so much of specifically 2014 documented, the whole set. Michelle was there for a lot of it, actually, really funny, brought fruits and stuff, kind of.
Yeah.
Now I know why you guys are together.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing you in the crowd, and a lot of people that I still know this day, but so much younger, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. So you've been to each one since 2014. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's changed a
fun.
lot.
It's fun every year. Yeah, it just gets bigger and bigger, man. And rightfully so.
It's weird.
I really enjoy it. Now I get to take, Maya to it, and once Freddie gets older, he's a video gamer, and
How old is he?
he's 14.
Okay, yeah, he might
so
be.
He's not really into live music yet.
A DIY music fest in the backyard.
Yeah, he'll be like, not that cool. No, but
it's funny, like on paper, so many people are just kind of like, that sounds kind of weird or not legit. And then as soon as people show up, they're like, oh, I've never seen this before. I'm like, I haven't either. I still don't know what I'm doing, you know. Joke's on everyone, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, there's no rule book for this.
You play it off, though. I mean, this is the longest I think we've ever talked, because most of the times I do see you, it's just like this, or not like this. It's just like, you know, you're always, that's what I admire about you, too. You're always doing something. You're always moving. You're always getting something done. You're very productive.
Thank you.
And I appreciate productive people.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I mean, I've learned that from people before me. People have said, you know, our parents, grandparents, just like, you could sit still in life. You could let the world pass you by. Time will consume you, or you can do something about it and, you know, make something happen. And I'm really grateful for the people like yourself, people who come, people who've helped in some way, the roommates, the friends that are volunteer. It's like, I mean, I do as much as I can on my own, but at some point, it takes a lot of people to tango, right? So, yeah, it's cool. I'm hoping to do it at the end of September this year, so you have to come by and bring the kids. September 25th and 6th I'm trying for, if we can, COVID, if COVID allows for it. It was weird last year. That weekend was so nice, too. Like, the weekend it was going to be. It was one of those random July weekends. It's like 73 and sunny. And you're just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
This would be so nice for this fest. So it was bittersweet. It was weird to have so much time. I've never had so much time before.
Has it ever rained for a DZ Fest?
Yeah, 2014.
Oh, it did? Oh, yeah, it
The original day got rained out. We moved it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then in 2013, it got rained out in the evening. By about 9:30, the Avantis were in the middle of their set. And I had to go on stage and, like, stop it. Everyone was so mad. Because, you know, the crowd they're in it. They don't,
especially at 9:30 is like prime time.
Prime,
yeah.
like they're rocking out.
Everybody's howling at 9:30.
Everyone's drunk. It's a great time, and I'm just sitting there, the bearer of bad news, like, storm's coming. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, downpour. We got everything off the stage, but it was bad, and we didn't finish it. That night. But 2014 was got completely rained out. Rescheduled it. Then nothing for 15, 16, 17, 18, then 19. We had a heat wave and a storm both days. It was terrible. Like, it was bad. But we made it through. We didn't stop anything. We didn't even fall behind schedule. We just kind of powered through it. Rain coming down on stage.
I was going to say, I was at one of the 2 days. Yeah. And I think it was the heat wave day. It was nice. I remember it being, I mean, it was warm.
It was like 96 and
raining.
But
I remember it, yeah, every year I've been, I remember it being pretty, I always
have like
really I have like a sunny memory of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's July for you. That's why we choose July. But because of COVID, I'm going to do September. So it won't be as hot, which is nice for setting up, you know?
Yeah.
And for building everything. But, and it'll be a lot more nighttime sets because the sun sets earlier in September. So you'll have a lot more nighttime sets, which is kind of cool. You know, the band, it's just always more fun at night. Yeah. It's the yard gets scary at night. I'm like, I can't keep an eye on everything. I can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like 1,000 people. I'm like, please, nothing happened.
Yeah. Stay out of the tree fort.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I took down the steps to it, because people would go up there.
Yeah, I was probably one of them.
You might have been.
I know I've been up there quite a few times.
You went to the platform?
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, it's fun to watch DZ Fest from up there, and then I remember it getting banned for probably good reason. Because most of these people are, you know, a lot of these guys are drinking and then think that they can do this stuff. And it's like, that's not a little, you know, I mean, that's a pretty good climb.
50 feet up.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, it's scary.
You could die.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been aware of. Like, there's people like you who I know probably could do it easily, just knowing your abilities, but not everyone's like that. You get a little drunk, you're like, I could do that. And people would climb up there and would get really scared, and people would go in the DZ and try to do sketchy stuff. So I blocked off the DZ for the DZ Fest, because we used to leave it open. You were allowed to hang out in there.
I remember.
And then I'd hear some bad stories, and I was like, I don't like that. Just like, you know, people probably trying to do drugs and stuff. It's like an enclosed shack in a music festival backyard. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
So I was trying to be nice, and then I realized, like, I can't be that nice. So I locked it, and then I took away the ability to climb up to the platform. Yeah. And I was able to sleep better at night when I did that. But that's so funny that you went up there. Do you know how many times you went up there? Was it like every year until you couldn't?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was always sober for DZ Fest, so it was like but yeah, I remember you saying something, not to me, but I remember you saying like, you were gonna close it off, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just when you have that many people and it's dark and people are really drinking, doing other drugs too.
Yeah, do your drugs after. Do your drugs either before or when you go home.
Go to the platform, look at DZ Fest from 50 feet up.
Then do your drugs.
Come back down, then do your drugs.
Yeah.
See, there is a smart way to consume drugs. There really is, and that's one of them. Yeah. But that was. I miss being able to go up there during it, but I was like, you know what, whatever. I got to focus on the ground and the stages and stuff. So, yeah, it's crazy now. It's weird. It's been fun seeing it grow and the bands, having different bands come through.
Yeah, and multiple days now. I mean, that's cool. It's going in a great direction.
I just don't know what to do. It's like in a yard. Like what's the end result, you know? I've been asked that a lot. After now it's 10 years, it's the 10th one, so I'm just kind of like.
I do have a goal of someday playing one of the morning slots at DZ Fest.
Yeah.
So I'll get my.
Are you in a band?
No.
No.
I'm not. I play music, but I'm not in a band right now.
Just solo music?
Just any.
You should show me. I want to hear it.
All right.
I never knew you played music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My whole life.
What do you play?
I mean, no, okay, not music in general. I played the drums as a kid.
Okay.
Like growing up, I played all through from 10 years old till 18, 19. I played in the marching band, played snare drum specifically.
Okay.
But I play a little piano, play guitar, sing.
Oh, I never knew that. Do you have anything recorded?
I'll show you. Off camera, dude.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the pandemic stuff. Now, this past, I don't even know, a couple months, I've been, writing some rhythm guitar parts and writing some lyrics. So I'm going to try to record some stuff soon.
That's cool. Let me know.
As soon as I finish lyrics.
Yeah, that's sometimes the hardest part for some people.
Yeah, I get some kind of stupid lyrics stuck in my head. And then it's that's the only thing that fits from that point on. I use it as a way to get the melody of what I'm going to write. Mm-hmm. And then that, those random words get stuck. I'm like, I got to use these words now.
You get married to them?
Yeah.
You're kind of I have to use them.
I have to use them because those are the foundation words for the melody.
Do you write the lyrics first?
No.
The melody first? No, it comes after?
I don't write anything, ever. It's I barely know how to write. But, no, I usually start playing a guitar part, and I'm like, all right, I'll try to come up with something for that.
There's a different method for everyone. I'm sure you can apply it to skateboarding. I'm sure there's a different way to attack a certain trick with certain concepts, ideas, how to land it a certain way. There's no right or wrong way. There's so many different methods to getting it. It's the same thing with music. It's some people write a song, they write lyrics, they attach it to it, they don't. They write a poem. The way I do it is I write straight up poems and then attach it to the song. I force it. I just make it fit in any way I can, but some people don't do that. They have a melody in their head, they're humming it. They write lyrics that fit it, and then they write a song to it. There's just so many different methods. Sometimes they just write the guitar part. Someone else writes the lyrics for it. There's no right or wrong way. It's getting over that mental hurdle in your head as a creative person to just be accept it for what it is. Do what works for you.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at writing a couple lines. Mm-hmm. And I have the whole song, on guitar, and then I have a couple lines, and then I'll practice it, and then I get so, just can't get over it, and then I just move on to something else, and then I start a new guitar song, and then I have that. So I have a good little blend, but no completed songs.
Yeah. Do you do acoustic or electric guitar? Or both? Acoustic.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's hard. It's weird when you do it a lot and you're immersed in that world. It's strange to look back to people that are trying to still try to work it out, and you're kind of again, I keep going back to skateboarding. If I were to go out there with a skateboard, I would be so nervous. I wouldn't know what I'm doing. I'd be I can't connect these dots, and you'd be oh, just do this. You bend my trucks.
Yeah.
Get ready, and then just go out there and do some crazy grind something. Can you do a hard flip?
Yeah,
I
love hard flips.
I think I've seen you do a hard flip once, and I was like,
hard flips are my trick.
How do you do a hard flip? They're so hard to do.
They're a lot easier for me than some other tricks.
Wow. Can you do a nollie flip underflip?
No. Nollie flip, I'll take a nollie flip.
That's the one trick I always name to see I'm
gonna product placement.
That was funny. When you showed up with that, you're I got some coffee, and I was like, oh, I got coffee.
Yeah, this is garbage.
Dessert coffee.
Yeah, this is chocolate milk for coffee.
It is. I'm slowly sipping on it because I had I had some coffee earlier, and I was like, I'll sip on this, whatever.
Yeah, it's not. If you don't think of it as coffee, it's good. For me,
it's like a coffee dessert.
There's espresso in it, so it's like.
It's got that sugar. When you mix espresso and sugar, it gets weird. It's too much.
Perfect for me. I'm weird, so it's right up my alley.
Oh, I just like.
I'm wiry.
I've like not had so much sugar that now when I have it, like it gets to my head. Like I just will have straight black coffee, and like my sugar is mostly from fruit, and like that's it. Not a lot of added sugar. So now when I do have stuff that has added sugar, I'm just like, oh man.
It makes you more tired afterwards too. It's like you'll have
crash.
The highs and the lows. Yeah, that's the.
It's weird.
Yeah,
but then you wonder like, what is going on with me? Should I be consuming this? If it's doing this, if it's that drastic, like I could feel the difference.
Yeah.
Maybe I should think about it more. Maybe everyone should.
Yeah. Oh,
sugar's the culprit.
Big advocate for. I'm a little lazier now than I used to be, but definitely, I don't know. I'm thinking about something in the coffee, and then I'm thinking about something, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, sugar. It's like I've been more aware of it because like my grandparents were diabetic. My parents are. And I did like the 23andMe, the genetic one where it tells you more about health things. And it said like I was like 38% more likely to develop diabetes. So I put all of their health and anecdotal experiences together, couple it with my other family that has diabetes, and then that. And I was like, all right, I think I have enough information to deduce that I should probably be very careful with sugar and diabetes. And I've been much better with it. And I noticed results.
Hey, you look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. I could see some muscles there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
good, man.
Now it's just an obsession. Now it's just maintaining.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. It's so much more fun when you have like a goal. Like I want to lose 10 pounds or 20 or 30, and you're like, that strive is so. It's daunting, but it's fun when you start seeing progress every week. You're like a pound less, 2, 1, 2, and when you get there, you're like, now what?
Yeah.
Oh, now I got to just keep this forever.
Yeah. Yeah. When I started getting really into running last year. I used to run. Like when I moved to the city and it was winter, I had nothing to do. That's when I started running. I was like 20 or 19, 20, somewhere in there. And then I was pretty into it throughout, my life after that. Just it was always kind of second to skating. But this last year, I was like, I need to get in shape and I need to do something good. And that was when I kind of kicked it up and I was like, all right, I want to run. Whatever, I want to jump up my mileage, and then I got into trail running, all that stuff. But when I was running like those heavy mile weeks, like I didn't think about anything eating wise. Like I actually probably ate less when I'm running than I do when I'm just sitting at home.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the beauty of the psychology of working out. You start to just think differently, and you focus on different things. You're tired all the time because you're working out. So like I sleep better now than I've ever had in my life. You realize you need, if you want to maintain like that run or that walk, those miles every day, you need clean fuel. You need better fuel, otherwise you won't operate well.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's where you start taking away the sugars and like the bad fats. You start focusing on like better stuff, better fuel, certain vegetables, certain fruits, certain meats. If you eat meat, like all that stuff adds up. Yeah. And it kind of goes hand in hand. So like it's this great snowball effect when you start trying to be more health conscious. And you start doing those crazy workouts and you're tired and you're exhausted. You're like, I don't really want a burrito or a pizza right now. I want like a salad with like, black beans and a nice clean dressing, because now that when I wake up tomorrow to do this again, I'll feel better.
Oh yeah, nobody wants to be like puking in their mouth while they're running.
No.
Because it's like,
no.
I've done it though, but I love.
You puked in your mouth while running?
Like you're like almost there. It's like if you eat like
spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, if you eat spaghetti or something with like tomato sauce, you're like, you could feel it when you're running. It's like, it's just burning right here. I'm like, it's no good.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, it's weird. You find yourself doing more healthier stuff when you do more healthier things. And then you see the effects of it on the people around you. And you can kind of build up like, oh, my friends and I, roommates, we've all been on this health kick, kind of just feeding off each other. Like now we have expectations for each other. Like, oh, did you do your workout this morning? Like, oh, you want to go on the walk later?
Accountability mirror.
Yeah, just kind of like, you see someone doing pull-ups, you're like, oh, I got to do pull-ups. And it's just like this fun, and everyone's just been doing better with it. But it's a lot better than, going on the internet and being preachy. Like, oh, you got to do this and that. It's like, it's better when you see it. Like if your friend, your parent, your roommate's just being healthier and talking about it, being positive, showing results, it's nicer in real person than it is getting it through the internet. But it's another thing COVID woke me up to. I was like, man, if it's about your immune system to like deal with this thing, maybe I should like try harder and like be healthier so I could, if I do get it, it won't affect me or hurt me or kill me.
Yeah.
And so that was another big push too. But I also was a lot healthier when I was younger, and it brought me back to that. I feel like I'm like 22 again. It's been great.
Yeah.
You know, I hated getting larger and like overeating and then not feeling. I remember like,
Yeah, you eat twice as much, you're twice as tired.
yeah,
It's
twice
like,
as tired. I got to roll out of bed. I can't pop up out of bed.
How about tying your shoes?
Oh,
You ever
everything.
feel that?
Yeah. You
there
go
was
down and the belly's there?
That was the turning point for me. It was like, I got up to, and I went from probably, like, my lightest, I'm not like, there's guys that are naturally like, they're like 6 foot, 130 or something. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like the lowest I got down to maybe like 145. And then just over the years, like, my normal weight's probably like 160 something. And I got up to like the mid 180s, you know, and for me, that was like the biggest I ever was. And I remember just like going to tie my shoes and being like, I'm like, that's
Something
not
there.
good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for me. That was, and it was just starting to run again. It was hard at first. I was like, because I went from running a pretty good amount to like nothing, and then all of a sudden it was like 2 mile run. I was like, I was done.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of cool because then, you know, 3 months later I could run 15, 20 miles. So
In
you
one
just, like-
sitting?
yeah.
You do any marathons?
Yeah, I did a marathon in August, and it was so I switched up my whole running mind. It was, now I like doing like runs with elevation, like single track trail runs. I more than like road and stuff. So I did a run in Indianapolis in August. It was a marathon, and it was just all like off road, you know, like a paved trail or multi-use gravel trail, yeah, dirt. And then I did an ultra marathon in November in Payless.
What's an ultra marathon?
31.1 miles.
What makes
Or
it?
31 point.
What makes it an ultra marathon?
Well, the marathon is the distance. So
Yeah.
a marathon's 26.2.
Right.
Makes it ultra because you have to do that and then run an extra 6 miles.
So 32.2?
It was 31.8. So
Okay.
yeah, extra 5 point something.
I wonder why I had the 5.6. That sounds like an arbitrary number.
It's a 50-kilometer run.
Oh.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
Once you get past, yeah, so there's 50 kilometers, 50 miles. There's you know, like 100Ks or 91Ks. Sometimes they do like 100K, which is, I think it's like 62 or 64, something like that. What's 100K?
If it's 3.1 for 5, you times that by 20, you got your 3 times 20, you got your 60, and then 0.1 times 20 would be another 2, so 62.
Yeah, 62. Okay, I was
Right?
right.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
that was my first number,
Okay.
so good. Yeah,
Yeah.
62. And
I'm here
then-
till the weekend, people.
That was good. That's impressive.
I'm a nerd. I use my most popular app is my calculator,
I use the calculator a lot.
and I try not to ever use it, so think about that. So what I do is if I ever have to do math, I just try so hard. It's my own way of like keeping my brain as sharp as I can keep it. Like people play Sudoku. I like to analyze music, do math for fun, and play chess. Like that's how I try to keep my brain sharp, you know? So when there's even like the most simplest thing, like don't use a calculator. And when it gets really hard percentages, I just sit there. I'm like, I got to figure this out. And then what I'll do is I'll double check it just to make sure it's right. But I'll like sit there sweating over how to get to the answer.
I'm the exact same way, except I'm slower than you at it. Now, and so if I know you're quick at it, I'm gonna let you have it because you got it. And me would be like, all right, extra 2 minutes. All right, got it.
Yeah.
But,
No, it's like anything else. Some people are better at it than I. It's a skill set. I've just been practicing my whole life, just like doing measurements, memorizing numbers, trying to keep up with it. Again, it's kind of for fun. It sounds so nerdy. I get excited about like trying to like figure out math problems and stuff. I don't
no,
know.
that's not nerdy at all. That's my favorite thing to do. I love getting like
Maybe we're just nerds.
yeah, like at work and stuff. Like we're doing. I'll skip past work and all that stuff. But yeah, at work. We do like a lot of restoration projects, or you know, we're clearing out invasive plants in larger areas.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we want to total our acres and stuff. So a lot of times we'll just, you know, you got to convert whatever square feet to acres, or you know, you go on Google Maps, get the square footage, and then you know the conversion and stuff like that. But I love, my favorite thing to do now is like if I, depending on the size of the area, I think I was telling you earlier, there was a wildfire out by Bartell. Am I close enough? Sorry.
I mean,
there was a wildfire out by Bartell Grasslands, and it's just kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I go out there to look at it afterwards, and the guy, the fire department's like, "Oh yeah, it's about 30 acres." And I look at it, I'm like, not even fucking close. There's no way. So I started walking it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna click my app and just run around the burn acre or the burn unit. It ended up being 190 acres, but
it's a lot of acres to burn.
Yeah,
a random fire?
No, I have a theory that it's a serial arsonist for the season.
Has that been happening a lot?
There were 4 in that exact area within the spring season. So
Sounds like a serial arsonist.
Yeah,
let's go find him.
And I think I don't know the person, but I think I know who it is. I think it's a volunteer, because we get some volunteers for the forest preserves that
some Dexter stuff going on.
They think they run it. Like they're die hard about their site, and I'm not saying that's who it is,
you're saying it. Let's figure this out.
I really do think it's someone that knows what they're doing, because they're burning right up to the other burns, and they're burning on days where the conditions are very dangerous for burning. Like a
high
day where
winds, very dry.
Yeah, and I think they're using that to be like, oh, wildfire, and it just happens to be right where they left off the other burn.
How do you know it's not from the other? Or because it's days after that burn's done?
Yeah. Okay. So we have contractors that go in and they burn an area, and I have the maps for it, and I know the units. And then all of a sudden there'll be, 190 acres is a lot of.
What is the
burning?
What does the burns do around here? Like what is it? What are the pros? What are the cons?
It's pretty much all pros.
What are the pros?
Well, native plants, like Illinois native plants, are tolerant to burns because they've been happening for so long.
It's been burned so hard, like an adult.
Yeah, Native Americans
can't burn them anymore.
Native Americans used to burn the land, for clearing. I don't know too much the science behind it, but I know they did it, and it's been so. A lot of like the native plants are tolerant to burning.
Tolerant how? Like they just won't burn?
They'll burn, but they'll regrow.
Oh, they'll regrow.
Yeah,
Got it.
so they have like deeper root systems, or they know what to do. In layman's
They're
terms.
Smart. They're smart.
They're more smarter than the invasives. The invasive plants that were brought here,
which is a lot.
Yeah, they're not tolerant to burn because they're not used to being burnt. So when you burn, like when you burn a prairie, all the native plants to that prairie will come up, and hopefully some of the invasive plants and the invasive plant seeds get burnt.
Now, what is wrong with having the invasive plants here?
They outcompete the native plants. I don't know.
So they're smarter, huh?
They're smarter. Yeah, they're not as good. They, they take over an area. Like, here, I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody gets to see, but I'll show you kind of like a before and after of what an area will look like. But eventually, like the mature trees will even get out. The mature trees will get kind of outcompeted. So this is before clearing for an area of what the forest looked like. You can see there's buckthorn everywhere, honeysuckle in there and stuff, and a lot of the smaller trees don't get any sunlight or any room to grow. The forest, there is the plant life on the forest floor is pretty much non-existent. Mm-hmm. So this is like, oh wait, no, that's not the one. Damn it. Okay.
That's after.
This is after. This is when you cleared out the area. So now what remains in the area is some more mature oak trees, some younger hickory trees, younger oaks.
And they just grow back.
Yeah, and now what you'll see eventually in the floor is new plant life will grow up.
Mm-hmm. I see it right now. Like, how often do they do this? Because everywhere I walk, I see it all the time.
Yeah, so
never ending.
That's because you're in the special zone. You're in Payless. They do probably the most restoration work.
I never stop seeing it. Like, the other day we went on a walk, and it's just everything's burnt, and you see new green growing. Yeah. Dead trees above. It's very interesting. You see it so much that I'm like, is this just never ending? They just do it all year round? They just don't stop?
They have armies of contractors that come in and do a lot of this work. It's amazing.
So, like, this might sound like a dumb question. If you start from scratch and you burn everything, then where are the invasive? They just come from different winds, bringing in more plants, like seeds.
Yeah, so
like
you're not going to
birds.
kill. I mean, restoration projects are a long process. Like, it's not just like one and done.
Yeah.
It's like 5 years of follow up, minimal. Sometimes 10, sometimes forever. You have to constantly monitor and keep track. So they'll come in. A lot of this, like a lot of it is like the brunt of the work up front, if that's the word. I think brunt, right? That's a word, isn't it?
Sure, that sounds like it works.
I think it's a word. But a brute, I don't know.
The brute of the brunt of the burn buries.
Here, keep it going. Keep the
buries
bees
the borrow birds who borrow the baggage
of
to
bird.
bind together the bending of the branches.
Beautiful, beautiful bark.
The beautiful bark with the bending of the branches. There we go.
Okay. What was I gonna say? I forgot now.
I took you off of my
I
bee
it.
poem.
Yeah, you started getting me going now. I'm like never. How
So restoration.
Yes. So yeah, the brute brute force originally is clearing out like mature invasive plants like buckthorn, honeysuckle, and just basically like bulldozing that site and clearing out huge areas. Then it's following up with like the resprout work, but when they do these huge areas, they have to use machinery. So they use like forestry cutters with like skid steers, whatever. So what'll originally happen is they'll molt like the no, what do they call? My words ain't working right now. The blades on the mowers, they're more of like a chipper blade. So you'll see like after they come flying through everything, you'll see it looks just like the whole area looks like it's mulched almost.
Yeah,
like just
it does.
with like huge
wood chips
piece.
everywhere.
Yeah. So nothing grows there for a little bit. But you'll see like where they worked 2 or 3 years ago, you'll see natural plant species growing through again.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, and once they do that, then they'll burn it one time, or like they'll burn the leaf litter that falls, and then some of the invasive seeds that are there will go, and then.
And they do this with all these hundreds and hundreds of acres. Like they just constantly are trying to keep up with all of it.
They try to keep up with a lot. Yeah. We burned. So it's not in my department, but I'll go out and burn with. I really like burning, so I'll go out with like the resource management department.
Break some glass out there.
Yeah, just the fire. Yeah, you'd really. If you think breaking glass is fun, lighting entire areas on fire is.
How do you
so
maintain
fun.
it? Like, how does it not get out of hand?
Wind conditions, science. Yeah, that's
Science, kids.
Science is the biggest thing. Well, it's a pain in the ass sometimes because depending on where you're at, like if you're doing like a woodland burn, that's a little easier because it's a little easier to control. I think because if you light a grassland on fire, there's like. It's if the wind takes the embers or anything, it's really hard to maintain. Like we burned at Orland Grasslands before, and we had to back burn. So like the wind's going northbound, so it's a south wind, which means it's going north. We're burning an area that's 240 acres. We had to walk at the very north end of it and burn patches of 10 feet wide sections all the way down. Takes like 3 hours to do. So you're just burning these little tiny pieces and extending the burn line.
Yeah, to have a gap.
Yeah. So it can't
do you use
jump.
water? Do you soak anything?
Yeah. So we have like an army of a crew there. It's like you'll have 3 or 4 people with backpacks. You'll have a pumper truck, with like an actual fire truck hose. A second one on like a ATV, like a gator. And then there's a couple people lighting. There's a couple people with like flappers to put stuff out, and you're just like a hawk, just watching that line, making sure nothing jumps over, and eating. If you're on this side of the line, you're eating smoke the whole time because the grass fires are like the grassland fires or prairie fires.
Isn't that bad for you?
The smoke, yeah, it's probably. I mean, I've been pretty lucky to not be on that side, but there's like
They don't give you like ventilators or something, respirator, whatever they give you.
You can, you have the option, but usually it's like the old guys that smoke cigars. They sit there and they'll sit there and most of the time they're in the truck though, so like they're there if they need to get out.
Yeah, but
like they're not breathing in as much.
What about the animals? They just flee.
So that's why we burn in very specific times. There's a fall burn season and a spring burn season, and it's usually a really small window. For both of them.
I've noticed them both.
Yeah, the fall even smaller than the spring a lot of times because you have to wait till either the ground freezes the first time, like till there's a frost, and all the small animals go underground. And same thing in the spring. Like you're waiting, you're doing it after it's dry enough to burn, but before all the animals come out. So like deer can outrun a burn, no problem.
Yeah, those leave.
Yeah, but small animals we try to burn in very specific times. So like even like snakes and like the gross animals.
Screw those snakes.
Yeah, we work around their schedule.
Yeah, the toads.
Yeah. Because if you burn, and that's the thing is like about that serial arsonist guy, like
it's a guy, huh?
Or girl. Yeah,
we all know it's a guy.
I think it's a guy.
We all know it's a guy. Whenever something is serial, we know it's a guy.
Yeah. So exactly. So I think there's, I like they were burning 2 or 3 weeks after we stopped burning for the year. So like there's animals above the ground at that point, which could be a problem.
That's sad.
Yeah,
it's messed up.
And I had to like part of when I was out there, I'm like walking through the unit to see if there's any dead animals or anything, so I could.
My goal this year is to help you catch this person.
I think we could do it. I think if anybody could do it, it's Michelle, because she should be working for the FBI.
Why?
Just saying, because she's just an investigator, just naturally.
Okay.
She is curious and.
All right, the three of us will team up. We'll find.
Yeah.
It. I'll find the brightest minds.
She's suspicious about everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Everyone.
Everything?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how, I was telling you earlier, that's how I ended up getting a rabies shot, because she's just so paranoid
Isn't
about
that not like the easiest shot?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It wasn't, it was 7 shots. 7 shots, and I didn't even get bit by anything. So, Halloween, on Halloween, there were 2 cats fighting in the front yard. They weren't black cats, but they were cats. There were 2 cats fighting in the yard, and I'm like, shit, I gotta stop this, because one of them was the cat I liked.
Okay.
I hated the other cat, but one of them was Cat Stevens, our cat, and he was fighting this other cat in the front yard.
That's a great name, by the way.
I named him. Thank you. And so I run downstairs. We had a bat problem in our house already. This is like an ongoing thing.
Bats in the house.
Yeah, multiple times. So first it was just bats in the basement. and then Michelle to this day does not want to go in the basement. But a couple times I went downstairs, there was a bat in the basement. I'm like, that sucks. Everybody else was like, fuck this. So eventually there's bats in the house. I'll get
How
to
are
that.
they getting in?
Yeah, they're just fucking bats. And I live
when
in...
you bust out that
I live in Old Orland.
BB gun and you hit that bat.
There's a lot to this story, and I'll get to it. So I go run into the basement to get a fishing net that I had for catching bats. And as I go, and I wanted to break up the cats, but I needed the fishing net.
Yeah.
So I go running down the stairs. I must have spooked the bat. Right as I was going downstairs, he went flying up the stairs and just went boom, like right into my head. And then he flew off. And then I told Michelle about it, and she didn't want to share drinks anymore.
Biggest mistake of your life.
Yeah, she didn't want to share drinks with me.
Did it even leave a mark? It just bounced
nothing.
Off you?
No mark, no nothing. But she was not. She was like, nope, you're gonna get rabies.
Oh my
I'm not.
God.
Not kissing you anymore. Not nothing. I don't want it. You're rabid in her book. So I went and got 7 fucking rabies shots.
And it's in the stomach, right?
No, it's different now. No, it was 3 shots in my legs.
What?
And then 1 in my arm.
Wow.
And the ones in my legs, it was like 9 milliliters of fluid. So I felt like I had water bottles in my legs.
Oh my God.
And then 3 follow-up shots afterwards.
They haven't come up with a better method, huh?
No. 4, and you can't get it at a doctor's office. You have to go to the emergency room.
Wow.
So 4 ER visits.
And that's never fast.
No, and they count it as 4 ER visits. Even though I just go in there to get a shot and it's scheduled, still.
So financially.
Yeah, emergency room copay. Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, any more bat problems?
Yes.
You still have bat problems?
No, now no.
Okay.
No, so.
How long does the shot work for? Like, are you good for life?
I think it's like 8 years or something,
Oh,
maybe
that's a
even
bummer.
10. Yeah, so I'm good for a little while. I can do whatever with bats. Smack them around. But after that, there was another time we were upstairs, and now the bats have gotten into our regular house. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden here, actually Michelle caught it with her super hearing. It was like,
I love your bat.
yeah, it was like some weird little, like they have like a really fast, like rapid flying. I didn't even catch, and I was sleeping or something in the room. She comes again, and she's like, "There's fucking bats in the house." And I'm like, I was sleeping, I'm like, she's like, "You got to get them." So I'm sitting there, and I actually caught a bat with a glove in our kitchen, and I put him in a little. I feel bad. We like tortured this bat. I put him in a little like food container. I popped a couple holes in it, and I called.
Just let it outside, or
no? No, we didn't know. She wanted that shit tested. We wanted to find out if it had rabies because we didn't know. This is,
I would have just left that out.
This is very dramatic, but
dramatic.
The kids were upstairs sleeping. Now they're not babies, so they could tell you if they got bit. But she was like, maybe they bit them in their sleep. They didn't even know. We don't know where the bat went in the house, so I want it tested.
I think you would know if you got bit by a bat while you were sleeping.
Too. Yeah, but hey, like I said, you let them win. Yeah, just do what I'm told. All right, no problem. So I caught the bat. I put the bat in a little food container. I call animal control, and I was like, I want to get this bat tested for rabies. It was in my house. The kids were sleeping. I don't know if they got bit. They're like, how old are the kids? Like, they're like 15 and 13. They're like, wouldn't they know that? I'm like, just yes, come get the bat.
I agree. They would.
They're like, all right. Well, they're like, they only work from 9 to 5. So if you ever have an animal incident where an animal attacks you after 5 p.m., you're fucked. Because animal control will not do anything outside of their 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So if you get caught up on the weekend, shit out of luck, bud.
Animals don't attack me. I attack animals.
Exactly.
That's how
Same.
live.
I mean, I didn't. The bat, he didn't really. I kind of felt bad.
You ran into him.
I busted into his territory,
Yeah.
and he just got spooked. He wasn't going for me. But this story gets it gets even weirder.
Okay.
So animal control, useless. Can't get it. And she's pretty much insistent on, we got to get this bat checked out. Because she's already starting to panic. Like, one of us has got rabies. So I call the IDPH, the Illinois Department of Public Health. And I was like, I got this bat. Cook County Animal Control is useless. I need to get this thing tested. And they're like, well, we really prefer you to go through animal control. I'm like, I can't even get them to come get the bat. They're like, all right, we got a lab in the city. You can bring this thing in. We'll test it on the spot. And we'll let you know. And I brought the...
So you drove with a bat in a Tupperware container?
Yeah, I had the bat in the Tupperware container for like half a day.
Was it sleeping, chilling?
No, he was nasty looking. He's in there. He's like... he only has this much space. I felt...
Just froze.
I tortured the thing almost. Yeah, I felt bad. Yeah, he's just doing the bat face like...
Yeah.
And he's just kind of stuck like that. So I brought him to work with me. On my lunch break, I drove into the city... And I brought him to the Illinois Department of Public Health. Now, this is it was like 28 days later shit in that place. It was like there were 2 guys there. And they were just like, they were the Batmen.
Yeah.
So they're like, dude, we really didn't, they're like, we really don't want you to bring it to us. I'm like, I'm bringing it to you. Like, it's already decided. And they're like, all right, fuck, okay. Bring the bat in. I bring the bat in. He's like, all right, usually, I just hand it off. I hand the bat off to. He's like, you got to euthanize the bat before you bring it in. I'm like, nah, I'm bringing it in.
You have to?
Yeah, they told me I have to kill it.
What do they want you to do to it?
Smack it around. I don't know what I don't kill bats for fun. So it's like, they're like, you need to kill this bat before you bring it in. I'm like, not doing it.
Shake it a lot.
Yeah, like drown. What, I gotta, waterboard it? No.
Oh my God.
So I don't kill it. I just bring it to them. They're like, did you kill it? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, fuck. Okay, we'll kill it. So I hand the Tupperware container and the bat to the guy. He takes it in back. He's like, writes down. He's like, write your number down on this piece of paper. Okay. Here's my name. I'm gonna call you this afternoon. It's just on like a torn off piece of paper. There's nothing like official about this.
This is a scientist, probably.
This is a serious, this is a full on scientist doing God knows what in this rabies lab. He just hands me a piece of paper, like torn up notebook paper. Like, this is my name. I'm calling in a little bit. Calls me back. He's like, bat was negative. Didn't have rabies. So
who would have thought?
Yeah, I didn't think it had rabies. But,
no. That's really funny, though.
That's
extreme.
That bat. Yeah. Hey, it was like a full on, it was a thing.
You went to some crazy lab, like some Stranger Things lab, huh?
Yeah.
That's fun.
There were 2 people there. They're like, we didn't even know.
Think about the things those guys know. That work in those places.
And they seemed like they knew it. They're like, fucking, did you kill it? Fuck.
No, I gotta kill it. I wonder how he did it. Did he go back, just drink his coffee, and just shake the crap out of it?
Yeah, like I want to think that he like just stuck it with like a little needle, but there's just a live bat in a container. It's not like you can just pull off the lid. The thing would probably be like,
That's when it would probably bite you right away.
Yeah.
You pull that lid off.
Yeah, so I don't know how he killed it. I don't know if he just like drowned. I don't know. I don't want to think. I don't like to think about it.
I'm not one to kill animals, but like I'm all about self-defense. So if something's in the house, I'm probably going to kill it.
At bad
It just is what it is.
He didn't
I
deserve
don't want
it,
to, but it's in the house. Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Man, I think every time I mow the grass, I push, the whole acre of land, and probably every other time, like a snake, a mouse, a frog, I hit. I mean, I don't see them. They're like in the grass. You don't know, but kill a lot of things. And then I think about like all the stuff that machinery kills, all the time. Like even those fires, like you try to avoid, but something's going to die.
Yeah.
You're going to, from an insect all the way up, something's going to die.
I get bummed when I kill the snakes too, because they're so dramatic. Like I always kill them line. Like I remember like back in the day, always killing them like line trimming. Like all of a sudden they'd be right at that fence line or something, and I'd barely nick it. I'd be like, dude, you're fine. You'd be like, ugh. Like
dude,
you just
think
like,
about the
they're
machinery you're using and how small they are.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being like this big. Yeah. And this weed whacking machine is just flying at who knows how many RPM, and it just hits you.
I know.
It hurts as a human. Imagine as something that small.
I know.
Takes you out.
I get mad at them for me killing them on accident.
It's the same thing with mice. Like, I live in an old house, and we're in fields and forests. I've had mice come through my whole life, and it's amazing how easy it is to like just one's walking. Like you're sweeping, one runs across, and you sweep and you hit it, and it kills it. Like they're so small. Like it doesn't take much force to kill it.
No.
And I don't want to, but it's like it is what it is, But yeah, that's the garter snakes. Those die the most probably when mowing the grass. Because they're so camouflaged and they slide underneath the blades, you can't even see them.
That's my highest body count, I think, too.
Oh my God, yeah. You don't even know. Like I'll be done with the grass and the stupid dogs are rolling around in it. For some reason, dogs love rolling in snakes that are dead.
Yeah, and
don't ask me why.
Snakes. They eat snakes.
It's gross. They smell so bad. I'm like, oh no, another dead snake. It's the worst smell. Dogs are animals.
Yeah, they really are.
I mean, they are animals, but like
dogs.
they're animals.
Dogs are dogs.
There's a reason why like certain women will call certain men dogs. Like,
yeah, they like rolling in shit, eating dead shit.
Not just want to eat, sleep, drink, and play.
Yeah,
just like dogs.
Cats are just assholes. Like cats are totally different. They're
dickheads.
Yeah, they really are.
I love them.
So do I. Yeah,
I know. Like Bo, the dog who you were petting. Like
he's.
I
see a dog. That's who I like. I feel like a connection to dogs more than probably humans even.
Dogs
like
are
I
so
see a
special.
dog, I'm like, that's my buddy for the night.
They're so much fun.
Yeah, he's just like, just rub my stomach. I'm gonna lay on the couch. We're cool. Cats, they're like,
I don't know if you're good enough for me.
Yeah, like you're lucky to be in my presence.
Like they do that little snooty, like, and stick their tail up.
They like rub it again.
I can grab a bird out of the air. What can you do?
Yeah, and it is amazing.
it is amazing. Like, watching them hunt, you're like, oh no, that's about to take a mouse, a bird. They can kill anything. A dog is
that like weird little lion thing that they do, where they like get their shoulders ready and they're like,
Grr. They could leap 6 feet onto nothing. You can't. Like, how are you sticking to that? There's no traction. They're just like on it. They're cool. They're so different. Like my roommate and I, he's a cat person, and I'm an animal person in general, but I gravitate towards dogs. Had it my whole life. Popular in this neighborhood. Everyone's got dogs. All the dogs hang out in the neighborhood. It's really fun. They all just roam the yards together, and I don't know. There's like that pack that comes with it. But I've always liked cats. They're so standoffish, and they're just not as they're not as annoying. Dogs can be quite annoying with their whining and their barking. Bo whines and barks all day at everything. Every sound he has to bark and whine at it. And he's big, so his bark is loud and deep. Yeah. Whereas like cats, they're just kind of like, they don't do that, but they don't have that like, come up and pet my belly and rub with me and greet every person, be happy and lick things.
You could, sometimes cats just stare at you from like a distance in the dark, and they're just weird. But I do have a good cat impression. Like I have a couple animals I do, but I'll have to back up. I'll do my cat. I have a cat fighting impression.
Okay.
Gotta see. It's kind of loud. Okay. It's like, wait.
Further from the microphone.
Yeah.
Here you go. You sound like a putting motor.
Yeah, it's voice is a little raspy with the headphones, but
the dog one is just like, they just like anytime they hear a sound, they have to like.
Yeah, I heard the sound.
just like barking at nothing. Like, you don't even know where that's coming from. It's the
why do you
FedEx
even-
guy next door.
Yeah,
I don't.
why do you even care?
It's that territory they have to protect their pack, their kin. It's how they survive. Like cats are just different. But like they have packs too, don't they? Like lions and panthers and stuff.
They're super territorial.
Yeah, but I never see them operating in packs the same way I see dogs.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you? I never see it.
It's because it's at night.
Oh,
They hunt at night.
they're more nocturnal.
They sleep during the day most of the time.
Yeah. That makes sense.
There was some crazy thing I just read about it. It was lions versus hyenas.
Mm-hmm.
They had a straight up war at night over some territory. Like, I think it was, man, I can't even remember how long ago. It was like a crazy long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the lions ended up killing 35 hyenas, and the hyenas ended up killing 6 lions. And this was like a fight. It was like a straight up war that happened. Eventually, the lions got the territory.
Oh,
but
6:35.
yeah, but just imagine hyenas killing 6 lions now.
That must have been a bloodbath because hyenas are pretty small compared to lions. So like to take them out, that must have been a mess. They must have took 10 of them to kill it. You know?
Yeah.
Those teeth. Whenever you see those teeth.
Yeah, they're like this big.
Oh, I just think about how that just goes right through you. No questions asked, just tearing through you.
Yeah,
You're like cheese.
Oh yeah, they're sick.
We had a lot of coyotes would be back here in the yard, and Bo, the dog here, would have some standoffs with it. And I had to go out there a couple of times with a bat. I was about ready to smash something. And there was this coyote that, like, Bo would be sitting there. It was always in the winter in the snow. The coyote would come up and just, like, start rolling around and playing. And Bo would get a little bit closer, and he'd just kind of sit there standing his ground, like, barking at it. And it would just roll around, play, splash some snow. I was like, what is he doing? And I went out there with the bat, and it scared it off. And then I went online, and I looked it up, like, coyotes playing with dogs. And they do it to entice the dog. And they slowly retract and try to get them to play, never getting too close, bring the dog where they have a pack, and they just surround the dog and kill it. And Bo's huge. He's about 120 pounds, maybe 3 feet tall when he stands up.
He's a big boy.
Big boy. So I don't think they were fully trying to get him. It would probably take, a lot of coyotes to take him out. Because he's just so big. There's so many smaller dogs they can mess with. So I think they were just testing the waters, but he wasn't falling for it. But there's some little dogs that I'm concerned, like around here, I'm like, man, they need to be like tiny, like one of those little ones. You're like,
yeah.
Because the coyotes have killed, my neighbors got ducks. They killed some of their ducks. They've tried to get stuff. I don't know. I was this close to getting like a high powered, what's it called? Not a BB gun, a pellet gun, to like just scare them away. Might have to shoot them, but like, I don't know. There's so many of them. I'd see them all the time. And they're scary. You hear them howling at night.
Yeah, I got
no joke.
Everybody hates coyotes, but I love coyotes. I don't know why. Like, I totally understand why everybody hates them. Like, they kill people's dogs. That's probably the biggest rap they got going for them. But they're incredible because
they're so smart.
Yeah, like they've successfully survived deforestation.
Yeah.
And like thrived.
Yeah.
They're really like they go everywhere now.
Everywhere. They're in like every state, right?
Yeah, they're thriving. And it's just because they're just so resilient. Like most animals, they die back when you take away their land and their forest.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'll take an alley. That's fine. Like that's just crazy to me.
It's the dog in them. They have just enough dog and not enough wolf to just be like,
yeah, I'll make do.
I'll find a pack. We'll hang out. We'll eat some garbage. We'll eat an animal.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate them at all. I love all animals. I just know like there's that point where it's like, well, it's intruding. It's trying to hurt the kids next door. Like I might have to.
And they definitely will. Out. They're nasty asses.
Oh yeah. I went out there. I have a long bow, and I went out there with this happened this winter. I saw a coyote and the dogs were by it, and I went out with my bow and I just ran out there. I was like, I'm gonna shoot this thing. I don't care at all. It ran away, but I mean they don't want to mess with. Once they see dogs and a human, they're like, what are we? We're not going to take these people
as soon
out.
as they, those animals.
But one person, a dog, a friend of mine, her uncle was walking a dog in Burbank, and a coyote came up, I think, killed the dog and hurt him. He had to go to the hospital.
Wow.
And he was just walking dog at night. So, yeah, you got to be careful. I'm glad Bo's big, and I'm not very, I'm afraid of these animals, but I'm not. Like, if I had to, I'm going to run after them and scream and grab a stick and swing at it. I always joke about what I'll do to them when I catch them. I'm not going to probably do those things, but I think those animals are so ancient and have so much intuition about how things work that they really can smell fear. I think all animals can. So you have to go into them like you got to be vicious and show them like you're not afraid.
Yeah.
A lot of animals can tell that, and once you're afraid, it starts to get in your own head. It's the same thing like when you see bugs around the house. Like once you're afraid of it, it doesn't really help, and it's hard not to be. A lot of that I think could be like epigenesis, like things coming through your body, epigenetics that you can't control, like fear of heights, fear of water, fear of dark, fear of snakes, fear of spiders, fear of things that for a couple 100,000 years have been killing you and your family and your genes. So it makes sense, but it's not really conducive to helping the problem. Like the centipedes in the corner of the wall, the ones that freeze when the lights go on. It's like you can either freak out about it or you can just grab a toilet paper and grab it. You can either kill it or you just put it outside, wherever your philosophy lies. But
my fear of animals is definitely low.
Well, you mean where you work, you probably see stuff all the time.
Yeah, and just like bugs, like spiders, I never feel like I've gotten bit by spiders. Like I just at home, I swear I had like a whole spider's nest in my basement at my ma's. I'd wake up, I'd be like, got me again. That's definitely been.
It's not as bad as you would think. Like when I used to sleep in the DZ like every night for years, I'd wake up with bites all the time. Bites here, I'd wake up like, what is that? It's not a pimple. Oh, it's a spider bite. Like little things like that. You're like, it's fine. It's actually not as. Same thing with bee stings. Like unless you're allergic.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a shot before? It's not even as bad as that.
Yeah.
It's like it's nothing. It's this fear, the anticipation, the anxiety of the act itself. Usually gets people. But that's how we always are. Like, I bet. Like, were you nervous at all to come and talk today, in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. In a sense.
But now you're probably not.
No, yeah.
It's just the act, the thought of having to do anything can make you a little nervous. The act of, there is a spider, but maybe if you realize, like, that's not going to really do much, I could leave it, I could kill it, or I could take it and put it outside. Those are my three options. Yeah. But like, freaking out in fear isn't any of those options, and it's not going to do anything. You're going to keep reinforcing that fear every time you just leave it and don't face it.
Now, when it comes to, like, doing my laundry in the basement, there's still an instinct in my head, not anything animal related, that somebody's going to get you when you're going up the stairs.
Someone's going to get you.
Like I feel like a weird, I think there's ghosts in my house and that gets further fueled by Michelle for sure.
She's in the ghost?
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And when she feels something, I'm like, all right, like she is not crazy by any means, but when she gets a feeling about something, she is always right. Like, so we definitely think there's some ghosts in our house, but
ghosts or spirits? What's the difference? What do you feel?
I mean, I always hope it's like a Patrick Swayze ghost.
What are you feeling? Like, what's giving you thoughts that you feel like there's a ghost in your house?
The temperature sometimes, they're just, I don't know. It's like a feeling like somebody's there. There's some, especially like I don't know, I get up early in the morning, obviously, every day for work, and sometimes I'll go in the living room and I'll just feel like somebody's there. I don't know. Never have it. I have like less of a reaction to it. I'm like 50-50. I don't care either way. It's like, if you're there, cool. Like find something better to do, But,
it doesn't scare you.
No.
Except for when you're going up the stairs with laundry.
That isn't ghost related though. That's just like, I think that just got drilled in my head so much as like a kid from scary movies that you always, like I always feel like somebody's just going to grab your foot when you're going up the stairs.
Under the stairs, if there was an opening.
Yeah. And there's like a little pocket there that just, it's like, I'm like, get some running in. You start realizing how much a lot of fears are just really in the head. The more you do a straight line to facing them, and they start to dissipate. And after a while, like fears are just all gone, and then real fears kick in, like the coyotes in the backyard. See, that's where my problem is. I have like the opposite. Like the real fears that should kick in, I don't get those feelings.
You get the irrational fears.
I get I get that irrational. That's my one. I have like, that's like the one that probably sticks with me that I can remember is like. The feeling of like coming from somewhere dark inside a house. Now, you put me in a dark forest, I feel fine. I don't feel anything. I could run in pitch black and just have a light or something.
Most people are freaked out by that.
Yeah. Or like somebody attacking you. I never get those. That's maybe being a guy helps. Yeah.
No, I've mentioned many times to women like, oh, you should go. Like, walk down Keene on. I do it at night. They're like, wow, I would never do that. I'm like, why? They're like, are you kidding me? you know, I'm a 120 pound, 5'3" woman. Like, why would I walk in the forest at? And I'm like, oh, I never even thought about that. It's not. That's something I've had to like come to terms with. Like, I don't think about those things at all. I walk with friends, walk freely any time of day, anywhere, without a fear. Yeah. And a lot of women don't or won't or can't.
I got hit by a car pretty big. I forgot. I should have brought that up earlier.
Whoa.
I got hit by a car running down Southwest Highway before. A car was going 40 miles an hour, and it clipped me. Like, it hit me in the front right corner of the vehicle, hit my elbow and my back, and it sent me flying into this ditch. And I'm like...
You didn't break anything?
No. I had
just
some kind
deep
of
bruise?
luck. Some kind of luck. Well, I thought I broke my elbow. My elbow was like, wouldn't straighten out.
The car just kept going?
Oh, yeah. No. So, yeah. It was a hit and run. And so I'm running. I just got shorts on and headphones. I'm running on, there's like gravel on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. There's just like a little right-of-way area. So I'm running down that. This car veers off a little bit and just nails me. Mm. And I'm on the ground, and I look, and they like swerved into the opposite lane, went like 1 mile an hour, like to stop. Probably saw like me on the ground, and they just fucking took off.
You didn't see the license plate?
No.
Too
dark and too. It was like they were a little bit too far. Like because they were going 40. So like by the time they actually slammed on their brakes and stopped, they were like a little bit out of my sight.
Yeah.
Of what. Yeah.
Wow, they hit you. Could have died.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And I like they hit my arm, and of course there's just blood pouring everywhere. But I looked for I had my phone on me. Phone shattered, but I was able to call Michelle. I'm like, hey, it was right down the street from her mom's house. I'm like, just got hit by a car. And they freak out. They come flying up. They call an ambulance. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't think I need an ambulance. And the ambulance comes, and like the look on their face is like, are you not dead? Mm-hmm. I'm like, because I'm pretty tough.
Because I'm Tommy Lyons, dude.
My
tough. Last name's self-explanatory.
Yeah, I'm the definition of a lion too. I'm a Leo. I'm lefty, and my last name's Lyons.
Yeah.
So that's it.
And you work in a forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. Because I walk a lot and I see a lot of cars, and I have this weird fear of like, there's that serial arsonist. Like, I have a fear of like serial drivers who just like want to
hit people.
So yeah. And it's weird that I say this because I believe it was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, my roommate and his girlfriend they go running and walking on. They were running. They were crossing 87th Street. And a car, this is what they told it, they're walking in a car just like is coming, and they walk fast, or they run to get ahead of it, and the car just accelerates, straight look on the person. They saw the person, no phone, nothing, holding on, accelerates, and just like goes towards them, deliberately tries to hit them.
Yeah.
And Eddie had to dive out of the way. I said his name, I didn't want to, but it doesn't matter.
That's okay.
He had to dive out of the way. And I think his girlfriend was in a different position to where she didn't have to, but like they were this close to what seems to be deliberately being ran over. Freaky stuff. And I'm just like, with what you said and hearing that, I mean, I've already been very conscious. Like when I walk, I try to stay off main streets. When I do, like I really look both ways. I try to go with traffic coming towards me and stay away from it. And it weirds me out. Like I have this weird feeling of like, I see these cars flying by. I'm like, all I need is that one crazy person. That person's having a bad day. That person's having a mental breakdown. The person who's drunk. Like anything.
Well, it's amazing how selfish people are, because whoever did that to me is a garbage human being, because I ended up having to take off. Well, obviously insurance doesn't cover. I mean, my insurance covers it, but like I didn't get any. I had to pay out of pocket all my stuff and miss 2 weeks of work and I shouldn't have even gone back after 2 weeks. My arm didn't straighten out for 6 months, but I have to do all that stuff because someone else hits me. Then, like a month ago, a couple weeks ago, just go into the grocery store to get some groceries. I come out, my car's smashed. Same thing, hit and run. Got to pay $1,000 to get my car fixed because somebody just, no accountability.
Yeah.
But I was going to put up a gravestone on Southwest Highway after that and be like, cancer survivor, father of 6. Like, just hoping.
Pillar of the community.
Yeah.
Councilman.
I really was, definitely cancer survivor and father of 6. Yeah.
You know what could have stopped that person from doing anything? They might have been drinking or on drugs.
That was,
And it would have went from an accident and probably just feeling guilty and paying for it to prison, Yeah,
so. Absolutely. Yeah, they were going, well, I drank and I'll get in more trouble than this guy's hurt.
Oh, my God. If you way more trouble if you're drinking. You hit someone. That's like, I don't know what it is, but involuntary, like attempted murder. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's not good.
No.
Man, that's scary. That's the one thing that does scare me it's the cars. I always say, like, I'm not worried about being out here with people. Like, the cars. The weather doesn't even scare me. Like, walking through the blizzard, all that, doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that. It's the people who have a 3,000-pound moving piece of metal.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of state of mind
looking
they're
like
in.
this when they're
texting, drinking, high, tired, pissed, divorced, suicidal, psychopath. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They're in a moving weapon, and it's something that PSA announcement for those who walk and run a lot. You've experienced it. My roommates have, and I just think about it. I haven't experienced it yet, but it is something like, be aware of it. Be careful when you're on streets. Try to stay off the streets. Give yourself space. If you're going to subject yourself to hours of being around stuff all the time, the chances of an accident happening are so high.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to think about it. It's not like, I went for a walk once. You're probably fine. If you're doing it every day and you're on cars, like, you have to be conscious of it. It sounds...
It could happen. I got really lucky.
Yeah. One more foot over, you're dead. 6 inches over, you're dead. Like, you got hit in the right spot to where it hurts you, but not enough. Yeah, if you hit your solid body, like your ribs, or your back.
It did.
But like your spine or something?
It hit me just to the right. I don't know how I didn't get killed. It hit me like in the hip back, and the front, like the corner of the car hit that, and the front of the car hit my elbow. And like I shattered their headlights, so I know the car hit me and not the mirror or anything.
Probably left some blood on it too.
Oh yeah. But
Man, only if you were able to get that license plate.
I know. There's so many. If I get the license plate, you know, we just live in a world where you need to get the license plate, unfortunately.
Man, that person probably never had their heart sink further. Then when they slammed their brakes and slowed down, they were probably like, did I just kill somebody?
Yeah, and then they drove home.
I know what you did last summer, and just coming right back.
Yeah, I'm going to get them.
You got to start, like...
If you know who hit me, let me know their address.
Was it summertime?
No, spring.
Darn.
April.
Can't say I know.
It was right around this time, like 4-something years ago.
And it took like 6 months for it to be normal again?
Yeah, it took a while. I thought it was never going to be normal. It got to like here, and then one day it finally went straight again. Oh, my God. But it got me like right under here somewhere. There's like a hole somewhere. I don't even know.
I'm glad you're alive. I see it.
Yeah, there's just like a little hole.
Yeah.
And then I got the same thing, like you're talking about, Lamont.
Yeah.
I got a hole right here from Lamont.
You have like matching holes.
Yeah, I ate shit in Lamont too.
How fast were you going? Oh, you were on a skateboard or longboard?
I was on a skateboard, so I was probably going less fast, but I had a McChicken in my hand, and I was going down this hill switch and just ate it. But,
oh, God, it brings, like, my body hurts. Like, my wrist that broke and my tailbone just hurt when people tell me stories about them. Like, yeah, it brings me back. Like, if I wasn't so hairy, not as hairy as you, you'd see a lot more of my scars. You'd see a lot more scars from, like, road rash, you know, bouncing off concrete, blacktop. Honestly, road rash hurts more than the brakes. I'd take a broken bone any day over road rash. Like serious road rash where you're sliding at 60.
Oh, yeah. That's third-degree burn sometimes.
Oh, my God. The cleaning of it was torture. The nurse he was an ex-Marine nurse. So this guy was laughing. He's seen such bad stuff. And it's 2 a.m. I'm in, Payless, emergency room, only one there. And he's like, all right, you got to clean all your wounds. And so this arm missing skin, all my limbs just torn up. I was wearing shorts and a T-shirt. He's like, this is going to hurt more than the accident itself. I'm just like, what? I thought I went through the pain. Like, the accident hurt a lot. It's like, yeah, we got to clean all the stuff to avoid infection. You have, like, pebbles and rocks and dirt shoved in your arms right now. Like, we got to clean all of it out. I was like, oh, no. He's like, yeah, it's going to hurt. So no one's around. You can scream, do whatever you want. I mean, I was a military, nurse, so I've seen it all. You're not going to scare me or anything. I was like, all right. Yeah. And he took rubbing alcohol and he just sprayed it on me and just took like this Brillo pad thing. It was just like, oh my God. I almost passed out. I've never felt so much pain I was just like, it was beyond pain. You like go in the shock and you're just like shaking. You're just like shaking and you're sitting there and it's just like, it's just pulling stuff out of you. I was like, can't they knock me out for this? Like, why? Yeah. It was bad. And that was my threshold of the most pain I've ever felt. And I've made it a priority to never feel something like that ever again.
Well, you're doing a good job.
I've tried. I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. People are like, why not? I'm like, I felt it. It was terrible. It was so bad. I thought I was going to die just from the pain. But, and it's nothing compared to like some people go through some serious stuff. But it was bad enough. And it scared me for life.
Yeah, see, I like the happy medium. Like and that's part of, like, to skate or to run or to anything. Like, there's got to be something in your head that's a little bit off. Like, there's just like I don't know what it is. Like, same with like running, and it's part like an obsession thing or something.
It's an
where it's just
obsession,
like
for
I
sure.
need to get. I just want, and it's not for anybody. You get nothing. You get nothing. What do you get a little medal at the end of your race or something? But like, just in general, it's just like, all right, I want to go a little bit farther, or just like you want to be at that point where you're like, all right, like your mental game's just way stronger than like what you have to deal with. Like a 31-mile race, even for me, it was like you get to a point where you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to be running anymore.
What about the 62-mile one?
That 50 is my next big one. This is so rude.
You gotta turn it. Yeah, that's what I do. I just turn it.
Yeah.
That way you have an excuse when you're not responding. Like, I don't know.
And I wouldn't have even noticed it, but it was bouncing off the glass.
Yeah, no, it catches. Well, we're so used to it now.
Yeah.
Like, for years, we've just been, boom, getting hit with that, boom, getting hit with that. And you're like, now you just see it. Sometimes a light hits the glass when it's up, and you're like, oh, did someone? And it's just a light reflecting off it. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. The new dilemma.
Yeah. But yeah, 50's next on the list.
50 kilometers or 50 miles?
Miles. Wow. 50 kilometers was the last one.
Yeah.
And that one, the elevation, so the race I ran, it was like the elevation there was like 2,500 feet of elevation throughout the race. So it's like you're running up and down a lot. But yeah, there just comes to a point, like when you're doing anything for 4 hours, like when you hit a certain point, you're like, all right. I wasn't planning. The thing is that I'm like a caveman when it comes to everything. I don't have like the fancy
gear and stuff.
My watch is from 2008, and it's like an old, the same. I saw a 62-year-old guy wearing the same one. So like he's on the same program as me.
You're 28, he's 62.
Yeah. And he was the person that beat me too. But he had the same watch. I'm like,
62-year-old beat you, huh?
62-year-old
Isn't that
beat
amazing?
me. Yeah. And then like an ultra marathon's one of those races where it was like it's such a long race. It was like there was a girl, she was in front for the first 10 miles or 15 miles, I think. She ended up coming in 25 minutes after me. So like a lot can happen.
Yeah.
This dude just nipped at my heels the whole time, and he wouldn't pass me. And he was just tough. Like, the dude
62.
was 62 years old, and he's just having a good old time. And I'm like, I'm going for it, but I could feel his presence behind me. I'm like, go ahead, just pass me. He's like, no, you're doing good.
It?
Yeah, I'm like, I told him 20 times. I'm like, just pass me. I'm like, you're good. Like you're going quicker than me. I'm like, I'm gonna die out. He's like, no, you're doing good. You're doing good. He wanted me to beat him. And then finally, like, he wanted me to come in right before him, it felt like.
Huh.
What
a nice guy.
He just stayed with me the whole time. Like, he's like a veteran. Dude runs 100-mile races and stuff.
Okay.
So we were going at a pretty quick pace for this race. And so after, like, mile 15, I'm in first, and he's in second. And then she kind of, like, tails off a little bit. He's following me, and I hear him whistling and shit. I'm like, fuck.
This guy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm dying. This guy's whistling. And... yeah, and he's just having a good old. He's saying hi to the people around me. I'm like, no. But eventually, I gave up. I'm like, I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, go in front of me. I'm like, I'll feel better if you're in front of me. And then he passed me up. And I don't think he wanted to. I think he wanted me to, like, he just wanted to keep pushing me. He was just that kind of guy.
How many people in this race?
I think like 60.
And you were in first?
I was in first. Wow. He was in second. And then mile 21 or 22. He switched to first, and he beat me by 5 minutes.
So you ended up getting second?
Yeah.
Wow, out of 60, that's impressive. 31 miles? That's what this one was?
Yeah, it was like 31.8. And by the end
insane. Of it... I did a 5K in January, like completely not even compared to this. Just no practice or anything. I just did it.
Yeah.
In Burbank, there was a 5K run.
Burbank?
I showed up... What?
Yeah. Sorry, Burbank?
I showed up... It started at 9. I waited till that day to sign up. They kept saying sign up before. I didn't because I'm me. I showed up at like 8:58. Didn't get a T-shirt. Didn't get anything. Just ran it. And my clothes got like stuck on like one of those numbers just for the time. I did it in like 24 minutes. And
it's quick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't run. So, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I know people do those in 18 and 19s. But it was fun to do it. And I think there was 100 people. And I think I got like 15th or something. But it was funny at the end. Like my friend, my brother, everyone got like medals because they all like did best in their age group.
Yeah.
And they had like their T-shirts. They had everything to show for it. I just had nothing. I just like left.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I was like, dude, it's cool to have the T-shirt, but I was like, I'm never gonna wear this T-shirt. Like,
No.
I'm just glad to do it. I'm glad I have the body that I can do it. Like, just jump in. It was a blizzard too, just in the snow and just run 24 minutes and just do it. But I'm still a fan of walking just because of the long-term ramifications of the running. You know, like how do you feel about it? Like,
Well, I see this 62-year-old and he looks like he's 40.
Right.
And he runs like he's 20. So
yeah, it's hard, right? Because he could be that.
He does 100-mile races every year.
He could be that genetic anomaly.
The guy that hosts that hosts that race, it's a Paleozoic race in Payless.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his he's probably almost 60. He's in his late 50s. He looks like a kid. The other guy, like all these guys that I see, they're in their 50s, 60s, sometimes 70s, still doing 100-mile races like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So.
So it's three factors.
I'm going to go off
diet,
of my
and
bias.
exercise, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go off my bias and say that it's good.
Yeah, no, because it's funny. I have people in my life who ran a lot, and they're all banged up. And I'm like, they probably weren't eating well.
Yeah.
And they have bad genes. We have a lot of bad genes in my family. Like, these are my aunts and uncles. They ran a lot in the 70s and 80s, and they're all messed up. They're thin, but they're all messed up. And it's like, oh, yeah, we have bad arthritis, diabetes, bad joints, fibromyalgia, like you're sensitive to touch. So like they all have these issues. Like maybe that's what's feeding into it. I think like technique, shoe technology, a lot of these things have helped with, helping with ankles and knees and hips. But also I as a kid up into high school in my 20s, I did a lot of basketball. So my ankles and knees are kind of really messed up from all that. A lot of rolling my ankles, dislocating stuff. I've tore my ligaments in my knee 4 or 5 times, knee going sideways. I did it last June, actually. That's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to just walk. I think I'm biased. Like, I've hurt my limbs so much that I don't want to risk it. Doing that jog in the forest and boom, I hit that one little tiny pothole, ankle goes sideways. Since mine have previously been damaged so much, they might go fully sideways and I'm done. Whereas if you don't have a lot of that, you might be okay. You can walk away from it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm coming from like this scared, like I've gotten hurt so many times, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, you're coming from like the exact opposite end of which is funny because like, I don't know. I've been fortunate. But when we're talking genetics, I come from poor people, like historically, like probably just like worker bee, like just like
coal miners.
Probably like I looked at my 23andMe and Michelle tells me it's like I like the poor Italy, the poor Germany, I'm like 4% like Egyptian and all this stuff. I got a bunch of weird. I didn't even know like I'm like 4%
it's fun, right?
Asian.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I definitely don't come from any royalty or any people that like. I probably come from like.
That's most of us, right?
Yeah.
Royalty. That's a small.
I come from peasants for sure. I feel like it. I mean.
You and me both.
Yeah.
The peasants of the world.
I look just like my dad's he's banged up because he does concrete, but
oh man,
my dad's in like great shape for a 58-year-old. He looks like he's strong. He's just strong, just built different.
Good genes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get hurt a lot as a kid, broken bones, sprain this, sprain that, just so many sprains. My ankles and knees are so bad that I'm like, I don't think running is my forte, because of it. And I did a lot of water skiing and wakeboarding. And when doing wakeboarding, you're sideways. So like this.
Yeah.
So the boat's pulling you, and either going switch doesn't really matter. I'll do it for the camera's sake. Going like this, you're being pulled that way. Your arms are going this way, but your body's sideways. So you're contorting and have fun with your knees. With your knees are starting to bend. So when you do these jumps and you land, you're kind of sideways. And it's just, I don't know, it's rough on the knees. And if you already have bad knees from doing like the skateboarding and the basketball and they've been rolling them a lot, things like that don't help. So I did a lot of that stuff and it just kept messing with me. My knees kept going sideways, had some bad accidents with them, a lot of serious rolled ankles. I was a center. I played center for basketball for years, for organized basketball. And then I started playing at the park at Moraine Valley. And there was a couple times I jumped. I was able to jump pretty high. I'm grateful to have natural hops, as they would say. And I'm able to like grab the rim with 2 hands. I'm only 5'9". And when you come down, 3 feet and you land on someone else's foot, your ankle's done. Like it's rolled, it's swollen. You pulled some stuff and you're out for like a month. And I did that. I don't know, 10 times, like my ankles are shot. So I'm like low impact. No worry. I used to jump off stuff, climb trees and jump off 20 feet and roll, like learning how to roll, like land properly. No, I don't do any of it anymore. They're all, I got to like baby the limbs, you know?
Yeah.
But that's me. Everyone's different. I got hurt a lot.
Well, no, I mean, you're we'll be talking in 20 years and it'll be me like this and you're going to be fine. You're going to be like, I remember that conversation we had when I said,
I hope not. I hope that you're running these. I hope you're that 62-year-old.
If I make it, I will be for sure.
Why wouldn't you make it?
I don't know.
Cars hit you while you walk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think I'm gonna die just enough to be the person that dies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to live your life. Still do the things. Don't live in that fear that, like I was saying, or like, when you were riding the bikes with the kids, you're weary of it, but you still have to have that part of you, like, just let them do it. Like, they have to live life too.
Yeah.
They have to be themselves and figure it out, and you're going to get hurt sometimes. But, hey, that's how you learn, you know.
I'd say my biggest fear now is, like, the fear to not be able to protect or be there for my family. Mm-hmm. So it's like now that was, like, what happened with skating for me. It was, like, the last, like, year or so, I was like, well, you know what, I can't really afford to be all hung up or, like, have a broken leg and still support my family and be there. So that's when the running was like, that's a better option for me because, running. When I started running after skating, it was like people told me, like, oh, you'll get, like, shin splints soon you start running. I'm like, this is a break from skating. Yeah. This felt like walking. It was nice.
I mean, skating, landing on that concrete over and over and the rolling and the landing, it's...
Oh, yeah, your hips,
I can't believe you didn't get hurt more. All your friends banged up?
Yeah, I've had... Yeah, oh, yeah. My friends... my buddy Brad broke his... Two friends, one night, broke his foot, and then the other one broke his arm. It was like back to back, within probably 15 minutes of each other at the same park. Yeah. Friends had concussions and, just the different stuff. John, White, he had one of the worst injuries I saw with a traumatic brain injury.
Were you there when that happened?
I wasn't there, no, but I talked to him afterwards, and I know it was bad.
He hit his head on the concrete?
Yeah, and that happens. Yeah. I hit my head one time, and it was not fun. It's not a good feeling.
No.
Out of all the like skate injuries, that was probably the worst one. And I just kept skating, which was stupid.
That's always the worst one. The head that's why helmets protect your head. Like when I got in that longboarding accident, the doctor was like, "Is your head okay? Did you hit it?" I was like, "I'm fine. I didn't hit anything." I reacted by putting out my arms and just like flipping off concrete with my arms like this, just bracing. That's why they all broke. But head was okay, and that's the only thing you really need to protect is your head and your central organs, like in the middle, heart, lungs, these things here. But the limbs, when it comes to some type of sport, your limbs are expendable. Just let them. I mean, they're not, but in this case, they are. Let them break. Let them smash. Like let them take all the force you want to protect this. Yeah. And when you hit your head, it's devastating. The concussions. I mean, it's the hardest thing I have with extreme sports and like football and like martial arts.
Yeah, I was going to say football and martial arts. That is like what the sport is designed for, is to hit your heads.
Yeah, especially football. Yeah, like football is. It's
You're
almost
signing
like,
up to be a vegetable, pretty much.
It's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad because it's such a it's a huge sport. It saves a lot of people's lives who come from bad places and they're just good at a sport and they can do those things. But at what cost to have like mental illnesses or physical ailments, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, things that kick in early from all the concussions, not good.
No, it pretty much happens to everybody in those sports too, or a lot of them. Some
way, shape, or form, especially if you're like lineman, running back.
I saw something on. Do you ever follow Nature's Metal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I always read through their captions and stuff, and it was talking about. I think it was talking about like rams, and they have some special thing. Oh no! It was totally off. Woodpeckers. So they have like a special liquid that protects their brain. Obviously botching what it actually is, but it's like a special liquid. It's where they could bash their head thousands of times a day. I think it was up to like 15,000 times a day. And like sports medicine is actually looking into developing things that could help keep the brain from bouncing around in your head.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever going to be able to come up with
Well, that's, millions of years of evolution in their favor.
Yeah.
And ours has been like,
we got to not hit our heads
football
as
and
hard.
extreme sports and martial arts were not around while we were developing. Like, we developed to manipulate our environment.
Yeah.
To create fire, to cook, foods. It's like, that's what we have in our favor. We developed so advanced that you would think we wouldn't go back to those crazy, primal, deliberate, hurting each other. We don't need that. Like, we've elevated to we could avoid, but then we went back.
We don't need to run either, though.
No.
I mean, there's no use, but I definitely feel right when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I'm totally meant to do this.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. People might never have had to run long distances, but I do think...
Not in the way you do it, I don't think.
No, but I do think about this is like, okay, if they're trying to travel and they're trying to get somewhere quick, like I guess that's how the original marathon even happened. It was like he was trying to get somewhere fast to tell him some news and he died or something. I don't know, but...
In Greece, right? To Marathon Greece?
Yeah, and he was like trying to get some news across or something, and he died at the end of the journey.
At 26.1, he just couldn't
just
quite
couldn't.
get there.
Yeah, it's like, come on, you're dying. He must have been in really bad shape to die. But no, it just, I don't know, something about it feels right.
That's just being outside, like walking, going on those forest walks every day. You're just like, it feels good. It feels right.
Yeah.
It feels like you are in the right place.
I got to take you to those trails too that I
Please
sent you
do.
some maps. You're going to like it. It's better than Payless. It's
I would
really
love
good.
to. Where is it at? In Tinley?
Yeah, it's secret location.
Secret
but,
location?
Yeah.
Don't disclose it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I try not to because it's not an official trail. It's a footpath.
Okay.
So you're not supposed to mountain bike on it, and you're not supposed to take anything besides your feet on it.
I mean, that's all I do.
Yeah, but most people, if they see something, we already have a problem with mountain bikers there, and I got to yell at them and get them out of there because it's not their spot.
Yeah.
But
mountain bikers.
Yeah, it's a great hiking, walking path.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Man.
you're gonna dig it.
And I remember you saying it's like your favorite place in America.
It's pretty close. It's a favorite.
It's a bold statement.
I don't travel everywhere, but no, you know what? New York's pretty cool.
New York City.
I like New York City a lot.
New York City is cool. I know that it's gone, like New York and LA have been hit hard with Corona as far as like, the biggest population, highest density, so it makes sense, but it feels like Chicago's, what I've been hurt, like hearing it's doing better as far as coming back from it. I don't know, New York's hard, it's so expensive, LA's expensive. A lot of people I know who live in those places like left because of the financial burden of like $3,000 a month for like, a bedroom apartment. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I have never, I haven't been there since I was probably 18 years old. So I went there with band at 14. We played at like Princeton in downtown New York. And then I went there at 17 I was in Model UN and I joined because I heard we were going to New York.
What is it?
Model United Nations.
What's that?
In high school, it's like you talk politics basically. It's like U.S. politics. It's like the United Nations but for high school kids.
Yeah.
So you meet kids from all over the world and you go to these big seminars and talk about politics. But I was never any good at that. But they did tell us before the year started that we'd be going to New York City. So I joined. Like a bunch of us joined so we could go to New York. And the guy that ran it, he was like 23 or 22 at the time, in charge of us who were 17.
Yeah.
He was young. He was really young. And like he's like, you guys are 18, right? And we were neither of us were, but he's like, you're close enough. He's like, just meet back here. He would just let kids go in New York, just wherever we wanted. Mm-hmm. We took the train to other towns during a school trip, It was just him, his two buddies that were still in college, and then like a bunch of high school kids. There was no chaperones, nothing. So I got to experience New York like really well. I really, really enjoyed it.
That's cool.
I was by myself for most of it.
I would have done the same if I was 22. Okay, be back at this time.
Yeah, I went to Central Park just alone and just it was really cool.
I went when I was 20 with friends, and we arranged. We had a 18-person road trip. It was pretty wild, actually. We ranged in age from 17 to 20, so I kind of relate to that. Like none of us ever been there, no rules. We parked in the parking garage and just aimlessly went places, all different ages. And it was really funny. I went to like a really expensive shopping area by Central Park, like really expensive. Suits are $5,000. I was this sweaty 20-year-old kid, just nasty, probably been showered in days. And I went in there and I started trying on all these suits.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so mad. It was great. I was like, I'd like to try on that Armani suit. And there's like, okay. And they'd like put it on. This is just expensive suit. I'm like nasty, wearing a big beard. And I'd walk around. And I was like, I'll take that. I want to try this one. And I just kept doing,
Yeah, they were pretty womaning you.
It was great.
They're like, you shouldn't be in here.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, say something then.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I miss doing that. I miss like upsetting the establishment so much. It was great. Just dressing like that.
Yeah, people get pretty upset if you don't look a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I've been treated quite differently by police officers from when I had long hair that was curly and a big beard and not so nice of clothes. And now I wear, the same type of clothes, just nicer versions of it, newer versions of it. I clean my face more. I get haircuts now. I drive a Honda Civic that's clean, like stuff like that. And I'm just treated differently. I get let go. What I would get a speeding ticket for now, I'm just like, oh, sorry. I'm just honest. Like, yeah, I was going this fast, did this. And then they're like, okay. And they let me go. I'm like, why is it no one let me go before?
Yeah.
And now that I look a certain way, act a certain way, have, an ID that looks nicer, it's just all of that. It's weird how you get profiled that way. And it just goes to show how much more they're profiling people of color, people who look a certain way. Big time.
That's their shit.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Michelle's friend Shay, every time she goes to Orland Park, she gets pulled over just for being black. That's a real thing out there.
Oh my God, yeah. Orland Park it's so close, but it's a different place.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No.
It's all concrete and stores.
I'm pretty happy that I work at a pretty progressive place when it comes to that. I mean, Cook County is progressive as you could get where I work, at least. I work, and especially my department, we have, our director's Latino, our Latina, our deputy director's African American, my boss is Latina, Hispanic, and pretty much it's just like we have the most diverse department of the forest preserves in general. I think it's like pretty cut and dry, like Hispanic, African American, white, mixed, a couple Asian people, but couple Asians. I don't know if I could sound more of like a white guy. Yeah, they got the whites, the blacks, the Mexicans. No, it's diverse. They're I'm on the Ready Committee for the Forest Preserve, so that's they added the racial part, but it's equity, diversity, inclusion. Mm-hmm. So we're working on different projects. I was telling your roommate a little earlier because he said he was going into public policy. Mm-hmm. But we did, our study was like, our work offers these trainings you can get, certifications, licenses, and it's offered free at work. So part of one thing I noticed working at a couple different divisions throughout the county was like, why do all the white employees have these certifications and why don't, like I just noticed like a lot of the African American employees didn't have any of them. So we went around, or first I got like all the information from the clerks. And it was like, who has these, who doesn't have these? And then after that, it was like, okay, sure enough, like what I found was like the white employees, like 60% of white employees had a chainsaw certification. And then 5% of African American employees had that same certification. So we were basically just going through and finding out why. So we interviewed like 85 employees and, we set up the questions in a way it was like, first off, are you interested in taking these trainings? So 5 African American % of employees had these trainings, but 80% said they were interested in taking them. Why aren't they getting them? Why aren't they notified about them? What's going on? So we went through this extensive study, and I won't bore you with the whole thing, but
no, it's not boring at all.
We were able to get a lot of different ideas and that's just like where I work. Like they really are open to like, okay, now we were able to part of the problem was transportation. Some of the employees work out in Thornton, which is close to the Indiana border, and then the training is offered for 7 hours up in Salt Creek, which is close to Hinsdale, and they're not allowed overtime to drive from their work to there and back. And there's 7-hour class, so you don't even have enough time to go there. So they just end up getting thrown to the side and not being able to take it.
Yeah.
Versus someone who works 5 minutes from there gets the opportunity to do so. So yeah, there was a lot that went into it though. Like sometimes it was a supervisor issue. Like if certain supervisors didn't have the trainings themselves, the employees didn't get them. And the idea behind it was like, okay, they give you these trainings, they're free, but they give you a lot of opportunity within the Forest Preserve. Some other jobs have those certifications or licenses as a minimum qualification for like a promotion. There's resident watchman houses, so if you have a chainsaw certification and a prescribed burn certification, you're eligible to apply for a house through the Forest Preserves that you can rent and be a watchman. So, yeah, there's a lot, but the Forest Preserves is usually working on trying to correct things. We actually have, for all of our interviews now, we have an employee that is on the Ready Committee for our work in on the interviews, so the departmental bias is kind of overrided.
Yeah.
So it's not like just one guy and he goes, hey, that's my favorite guy, we're going to hire him. They put one person on every interview to actually see what's going on and fairly decide.
Yeah. That's good, though. I'm glad that your job's doing that and you're more aware of it.
Yeah.
Kind of in the middle of it. I wish more. I mean, that seems like it takes a lot of time and effort, and I wish the more companies and establishments, government agencies did that. Would yours be considered like a government agency?
Yeah, I'm a government employee.
Yeah, me too. Nice.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Where are you working again?
ISU.
ISU. Oh, okay.
Illinois State University. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're government.
Yeah. A little bit of gov, a little bit of DIY. It's all good.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. Wow. Real quick, I haven't promoted this artwork yet.
Okay.
Been wanting to do it. This is my friend Laura Figa, who lives in San Francisco. She gave me both these works of art. I'll hold up this one in a second. About 10 years ago, and I've had them forever. Some of the tears are from a toddler, but I've been trying to fix them up and get them framed. But they're really cool, and she gave them me a long time ago. And I've always liked the mixed media, the patterns, the different colors. I like how it's kind of like two extreme things, but cut down the middle. And I don't know. She kind of gave it to me all bent and like torn too, so it's kind of how it always has looked. And she's a great artist. Been making artwork like this since I've known her. And let me hold up this piece.
I do like the wear a lot too.
Yeah,
it reminds me of like a treasure map.
A lot of these tears have been here since I got them. A lot of words we put in there. It's cool when you take like this. Probably looked like trash, like this paper. Who even knows what kind of paper it is?
Looks like a brown paper bag almost.
Yeah, like a brown paper bag, and just made.
I know my lunch
this would be
bags.
a cool album cover. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, that is sweet.
Yeah, cool.
It's amazing. That's one skill I have absolutely none of. Is just putting something on paper in drawing, or coloring, or painting anything. My stepdaughter Maya is amazing at it, and it's just so cool to watch. I mean, just different skills and just like how people are able to take what's in their head and then put it down on paper. To me, is just
it's a skill. And
yeah,
it's really cool too. I don't do a lot of visual art either. I do a lot of music and try to build stuff, poetry, those types of things, those types of expression. But as far as paintings, chalk, mixed media, drawings. Not really good with the fine motor skills, but I've been wanting to get into painting more, and I think I'm going to try it. I've always wanted to. My grandma painted, my uncles do, but like that metal character over there, that was made for me by a metal worker, a sculptor, and then see the glass underneath that's hanging, that DZ glass?
Yeah.
That's below glass that someone made for me. So there's so many cool forms of art, and I'm really grateful that people bring them here and I get to see them, but it's inspiring to see so many different forms of expression.
Yeah, people are really skilled. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm bringing like stickers, like no, that's really cool. It takes a lot of skill to do that stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin.
You're like Jesus though too. You're a carpenter. I mean, in all forms. You had the hair, you had the beard.
Will be back.
You're a pretty good carpenter from what I've seen.
You're
so
like
far.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I didn't know we were talking about Jesus. You're like him too.
Yeah, you're like him. Yeah, like the other people I was talking about. They're like Jesus. But
I like to build. I like to use tools and build, and it was something I wanted to do when I graduated high school. I applied to the Carpenters Union. They told me 7-year wait, so I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna do something else then. I'm grateful I did something else, but I have a lot of admiration for people who use their hands, who physically make structures that we live in. Bricklaying, concrete worker like your father, electrician, plumber, pipe fitter, union workers, people who just make it happen, who give us the places to express ourselves, to live in, to sleep. that's an art form, an architect who designs these things, the engineers. It's really cool, and I think you need all of it. And for the rest of my life, I want to use my hands and like build stuff, but never like as a job, just building stuff. I want to get into building cabins for people. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
It's fun. It's fun, and just swinging a hammer, knowing you put all of it together, it's like this crazy puzzle piece. It's fun.
Yeah, it's the money and the effort sometimes is a lot. I have the same thing. I want to do. There's a lot of stuff I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, what's the easiest like running? Like, there's nothing required from me. It's just a pair of shoes every 6 months. I love that. Like, just with having a family, having a house payment, all that stuff, it all just like adds up. And I look forward to the day that I'm in the place where I'm like, psh, couple $100, yeah, no problem. $1,000, yeah, I'll go build this. But
couple $100.
You know what I need to start doing is I need to start just picking garbage, picking wood. Like, there's a lot of people that salvage a lot of wood.
Uh-huh.
So I got to get rid of my excuses and just start
grabbing
some wood. What's up?
You have a yard?
Yeah.
There you go. So you need some space. A garage. You have a garage?
Yeah.
There you go. Garage and a
Actually,
yard.
no, I don't have a garage. I take that back. I have a garage at my yard, but I rent, and the owner doesn't let me use the garage. He just keeps all his shit in there.
Evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
So I have a basement filled with, like miter saws. And
I mean, that's good, but you don't want that dust and stuff in the house. You want to keep them separate.
I usually just take it out to the backyard.
Oh, okay.
Extension cord and...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any I have equipment my dad gave me from my grandpa.
Okay, some old school tools.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah, it's cool because like that stuff's built really well, but man, like modern stuff. So nice.
Yeah. My brother-in-law Johnny's got like the best of everything. DeWalt hair dryer,
DeWalt nail clippers, DeWalt tweezers,
guitar. I'm
DeWalt
like,
guitar,
where do you get all
DeWalt
this?
floss.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the T-shirts. He's got all the drills, the impacts,
I wear DeWalt
everything.
seeing glasses. That's funny. Yeah, DeWalt's like, that's the Mercedes of the tools. That's
Yeah, and then
I have a couple DeWalts, but nothing. I have a circular saw. It's amazing. It's so light and fast, and it just can go through anything. It weighs like 2 pounds.
Yeah.
It's great. And that battery on it, it's nuts. It's like a 60-volt battery, and it just lasts forever. It's so light. It charges so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just got the classic drill.
Yeah.
That's my DeWalt tool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another dream of mine, like collect a bunch of tools, have like a workshop.
Yeah.
Just fix anything you want or can around the house.
It's just like every man's dream.
Well, it's just like fun learning. Like, you don't realize how much you can get done, how much money you can save. You just start doing stuff yourself. And it's fun. It's like, if it's your house, it's very modular, and you can like do what you want. You can manipulate. You can paint that wall. You can throw up a wall. You can put down a different thing. You can stain the floors. You could strip them. Like, you do whatever you want, and it's kind of fun. Like, if you mess up, it's like, it's my house. If I did it right, wrong, or somewhere in the middle, it's like, that's on me. At least I did it. I don't know. Yeah, that's just why I feel about it.
No, when we started renting, like Michelle's like the ideas man. Like she's got the vision. She's just one of those people that's good at like any interior decorating. Like she's got like 50 majors, and me, I'm like I just go. She has the idea, or she has like a picture or something. And she'll just be like, all right, this is what we got to do, and then I just follow the directions and do it. But it always ends up turning out pretty cool. We got like so the house we're renting has. It's like 2-bedroom upstairs, and then it's got an office downstairs with a bathroom attached to it, so it became a bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But it had no doors for the office, so she's like, all right, bought a shitload of bookshelves from IKEA and all this stuff, and then like a little like electric fireplace. So we built the whole thing into like one big unit almost. So there's like in the middle, there's like a little fireplace surrounded by, like to make it bigger, like an actual fireplace. And then there's 2 bookshelves on each side, which are intermatched. So there's 2 different bookshelves. So like the shelves are on different heights, and like it's pretty cool. But on the side where the door is, or where there was no door, we actually lifted up the shelf. So we had to build up all the shelves about 4 inches off the ground. And then for the last one, what we did was we lifted it up, and then we made a hinge out of it, and it's a door. Like the bookshelf is a door, and it looks pretty cool. And kind of blended it in with the framing and the like the fake crown molding. to match everything else. So if you walk up like you're not paying attention, there's no way you're going to think it's a door.
Yeah.
We shock adults with it all the time. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That was just you guys just came up with that?
Yeah, she came up with it, or saw it on Pinterest or something, and then she's always the brainchild.
That's
I'm
cool.
like I'm the brawn child. No,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good relationship.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you met the second time here.
Yeah,
six years ago.
Yeah, you're a catalyst for this.
I try.
I love her a lot. So
that's awesome, man.
A lot. Way more than she loves me. I'll tell you that.
That's the weird thing about relationships. I feel like everyone feels that way. That's the weird.
Because it's true. Yeah. There's always
though?
one person that loves the other one more.
What is that? And how do you quantify it? And how do you even know? Because sometimes people have different ways of expressing it. Like sometimes you might feel like, man, I'm doing more. I feel like I care more. But what if that person just expresses it in a different way? Or maybe you're just anxious. You're in your head about it.
Oh, no. I don't feel like she doesn't love me a lot. She loves me a lot. I just love her. It's like a competition. I love her more. I fucking love you more. There's no doubt about it. Like I could eat her boogers. I could.
I thought you were.
I'm nasty. No, I could eat her boogers right out of her mouth. Doesn't matter. Or
That's
her nose.
So funny.
Whatever. She's got a nose, so there's plenty of boogers in there.
Well, yeah, you're in a different place now because it's 6 years. So
yeah,
that's a different type of mentality.
Yeah, we love each other the same as when I met her. There's no difference.
Awesome.
It's a good feeling.
I like that when I see that in people I know. It's reassuring, hopeful,
Yeah.
It's not, because there are some bad relationships, and you see them, you're like, ooh, that's stressful. That's hard. I completely relate. There's been some hard ones. And you see it, and, when the older you get, the more friends you have. You see people trailing away, and you see the relationships. You're like, oh, no, that's a scary one. That's a hard one,
Yeah, and that's not even kids and families and divorce and all that. That's even hard. That changes everything, Like if you get married to your kids too, I don't even like to think about it. I couldn't even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I kind of knew right away. That was it. I saw her. I have never had that feeling with anybody else, and I haven't had it since. And just like
it's a crazy feeling, right?
Some nature shit. It was just like it was like some physiology stuff.
That pheromones.
Yeah, she puts out mad pheromones too. She's just got that effect. Like I don't know what her stuff is, but she smells good.
I don't know what kind of deodorant she has, but
yeah, I don't think she wears any. I think she.
That's cool.
I like sniffing her and stuff.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer. Yeah.
Should we end on that?
Sure.
Love is the answer. I think.
Yeah. How long have we been going?
About 3 hours.
Jeez.
We started at
really?
10:15, and it is.
Wow. I didn't think I had 3 hours worth of material, to be honest.
Dude, we can keep going. That's just us. We're calling it quits. We don't have to.
We'll quit while we're ahead.
Listen, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, so you'll be back on.
All right. I'll have some better shit even next time.
You've had some stories. That car accident, this serial forest burner,
Yeah. A lot of excitement in my life.
No, that's crazy. I want to follow up on that. We'll talk more often.
I'm going to get them. Yeah.
We're going to get them.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, thank you so much for being here.
No
Thank
problem.
you for your honesty. Thanks for telling me about your bats.
Yeah.
Everything.
There's people talking about their crazy accomplishment. Me, bats.
Bats. No, the running is impressive. I understand that, and I respect that. And we'll have to do some of those trails that you've been talking about.
We'll do some hiking. I'm all for walking and hiking too. So
let's do it. All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
All right, no problem.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.